All right, how's it going, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Shareef and Friends, Orlando Magic Association. I think we're in 99, 98, 99, I believe. Because I think we have the 99 draft coming up, if I remember right, on the next one. I always try to remember it by what's the next thing. And I believe that'd be 99. It's looking like it because it's got some okay people in here. So it's not quite 2000. But either way, probably a little bit longer of a video. Longer video for this, but overall probably a shorter stream. So I'll have the Lakers game. I'll have... the way it looks, probably definitely Sonics, because they're one of the only teams with a better record than me, and then probably the Rockets, because the Rockets seem to be doing quite good too. And that would lead to Miami and another Lakers game. So I might as well just get right to it then. Let's see, there we go. Hey Okada, what's up?
This is the NBA on 2K Sports. Welcome, folks. I'm Damon Bruce. Tuesday night in the NBA. It'll be the Orlando Magic facing off against the Los Angeles Lakers. And without any further ado, let's head to Kevin Harlan and the rest of the 2K Sports crew at the arena. I'll be back at halftime.
We are in Orlando, Florida, as the Magic are about
there
to
we
go
go.
into this interconference.
I saw him just now on your screen. Apparently, when he was in a coma in 2015, he suffered 6 heart attacks and 12 strokes. The fuck?
He's really kind of a showman, Kevin. I mean, he loves the pass. He loves, the flair. He gets out in transition, finds guys with no-look passes.
Oh, damn
puts
it.
him on the money. He is fun to watch.
One of his other qualities, Steve, is how quickly he starts to break. I mean, he doesn't need numbers either. He can be a coast-to-coast, rack-to-rack guy all by himself.
This road trip for the Magic
Nope.
things off here in this one.
There's just gonna be no stopping Shaq, is there? That's just how it goes.
Very impressive run for this team. However, you've got to realize they have not played the top.
Hey, we could do this too.
Whenever you can put together consecutive wins or a good stretch of basketball, you deserve some credit for that.
Man, it doesn't matter that some of these wins.
This is gonna be the pain in my ass. I can feel it. If it's not, like, it's either gonna be Seattle or the Lakers in the finals, I think. The Heat have a chance, but I'm still thinking it's probably gonna be Lakers or Sonics.
Good work on the boards. They pick up the second chance points. Shaq's got his second basket.
He was the first one to react to that miss. Excellent anticipation on his part.
Oh boy, we're doing the college hoops thing here, huh?
Hammers it home.
Oh boy. All right.
Put himself in great position to
We'll be
make that
fine.
break off.
We'll be fine.
Yep, right to the rack.
I guess we got Mayberry starting because Bibby's hurt, so that'll be interesting to see what happens. At least in this game, because I think by the time we play the Sonics, Bibby will be back.
Still a handful to deal with. He said a lot of people forget this, but Tim Duncan is one of the smartest players to ever play and always makes the right decision. We can't be lazy around him.
Thanks, Doris. Lakers shooting their first free throw of the evening.
Well, the season numbers for this club really low.
I'm going to do my best to be entertaining, but I feel kind of sick.
Got to improve.
And guys, you know what? That's made
Sort of.
things hard for them in a lot of their games. I mean, that inability to convert
That and I'm
their chances
tired.
from free throw line.
I don't know why. It's only Tuesday, and I still got to deal with the rest of the work week.
Now the feed to O'Neal. Van Exel.
Ah, crap. I'm still trying to come back from my sleeping schedule being, I guess, not ruined, but definitely worse. How did he manage to get a hold of that? Definitely worse off, thanks to whoops, thanks to my week off of work.
Jacks up a three.
I should have been a little bit earlier or a little bit later on that one. I think I was early.
They were able to handle the Magic.
due to the big rebounding advantage they have.
This is what we're going to be doing today.
Trail by 3. Duncan with it. Guarded now by Shaq.
I don't remember dribbling.
We're about 3 minutes into this first quarter.
Oh, shit. Oh, my God. How did we not draw a foul on that one?
Steve just mentioned
How did he have the cleanest?
and it really was a big one.
Kevin, I mean, they were in complete control.
How did we have everything so clean with Shaq right there?
Factor in the game.
Now here's Duncan. After the miss from
Heat
Jones.
check. Ah,
Here's Wallace. Makes it off the glass.
that's all right. We got Wallace for that.
Second basket of the night.
Late reaction from the defense, and he's always going to make good on that.
Hope you guys have been doing okay today.
Here's passing it around.
Like I said, I haven't been feeling the absolute greatest.
The jump hook. Orlando grabs
there we
the
go.
miss. They defeat
Hanson just killed
Charlotte in their
Nakamura in
last
Fire
game.
Pro Wrestling
And in that
returns.
game,
Nice.
I watched it. They were dominant defensively down on the low block, just controlling the paint.
And you know, once they got a few blocks, the shooters started looking around for those shots.
I actually just read they just put out today, like just a few hours ago, a update on Fire Pro World that the apparently the PC version of the New Japan stuff isn't coming out until September.
Drew contact on the shot.
So I really don't know what to think about that
Lakers shooting their
because
second
it's like,
free
oh,
throws
okay,
tonight.
well, I would have liked to have it, but yeah, they're just like, yeah, we spent so much time on the PS4 version, and there's some bugs that we still have to work out, and we don't want to release kind of a crap version of this. So we're gonna wait until September to put it out. I'm like, well,
Jones nails both of them.
you're just asking me not to buy it at that point.
You can tell he's in a lot of pain. They'll
It's
take
like
his
I
shot
like
off.
it, but you're really starting to infringe on some of the other games I plan on buying come September, October, November, and December. It's not going to be that much, but
Well, it was the Los Angeles Lakers winning
it is one of those things where it's like, well,
thought
I
the way they
mean,
attacked the rim and got into the paint
I don't know what you're gonna want from me here.
The defense just kind of waved the white flag.
That's exactly what will happen when a team continues to attack the goal
Oh.
and get away with layups. It demoralizes the defense.
Pass to Whitman. Into Shaq. Whoops.
Hey, there we go. We could do it too.
Here's Cato.
Oh,
As the Lakers gain
I
possession.
thought we'd be able to kick it out to Hoiberg and it'd be fine, but nope. 24-5. I thought I was doing good at 22-8, but yet they're just destroying people left and right.
Looking at the Lakers, they've really caught nobody by surprise this
The
year. I mean,
PC
they've
have
got
awesome
terrific
chain
track
background like in the PS4 version.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're going to have that. They're doing a UI update across all versions, so it's not going to be.
But there really hasn't been a
Yeah, the PC version's getting an update with that.
The Magic trail by 3 to the inside. And he goes
Boom.
in for the dunk. There it is, guys. That Olay defense. Just watching him go, Clark, right by.
I think we might be seeing which
And I'm
team is ready
really
to take
jazzed
the
about
goal.
NBA
That's a
2K19.
dunk that could absolutely get them going. I agree, Clark.
Once again, it's one of those things where it's like I want to keep expectations kind of nice and neat,
To Howard.
but you know they've talked a lot about what my league is going to feature,
There off the double clutch.
and that sounds great.
See
And
that
then
too often. No defender
I
on
guess
him. He just climbs
my
through
career could still be kind of awful,
Boy, he found the perfect
but at least
spot
they
to
added the
field.
option of actually skipping cutscenes, so that'll be
They've gone 6
helpful.
for 12 from the field here in the first quarter. Feeds to O'Neal. He passes to Whitman. Pass to Howard.
I'm trying to remember what the hell I did all day.
Shot from free throw range.
I think I was super tired, so I didn't really get anything like done
There, guys.
because I'm still trying to figure out stuff for TEW, and I still haven't quite figured out what I want to do with that. Wow, our 3-point game is on point
And
today.
one of the things about him that you like offensively, it's his composure that jumps out at me. The way he never gets rattled. The defense.
But it doesn't help. It doesn't help the fact
doing
that
his thing.
And something else you
that
notice
I've been
about the
tired the last couple of days, so I haven't really felt like racking my brain with
Four for Orlando.
things to do.
Now guarded by Bibby. Hughes against Bibby. King the pass to Harris. Shot clock at 6. The Lakers need to get a shot off here. Hughes good.
What a start to this game. The offense is both dominating.
Tell you what, feels like
Yeah.
on the playground. Forget
Oh, I thought they weren't going to do that.
And so it looks like the Magic will retain possession here.
I should have pump faked it. I knew I should have pump faked
the
it.
last month.
It would have been fine.
Statistics. Second in assists, second in steals, and they are ranked third in team rebounding as well. I tell you what, everybody on this team goes after the ball on the back.
That's not what I wanted to do. I passed to the wrong guy.
And this is what makes this team good, I think, right now. They're sharing the ball. They're getting great ball movement and spacing, and they've become so efficient offensively that they've become a nightmare to guard.
Lakers shooting their 4th and 5th shots at the foul line in the game. That one is off.
But yeah, as much as I would like the UI update, I might just keep not having that update
Good on the
until
second free throw.
they come out with whatever update
46 seconds left
to
in the opening quarter. Abdur-Rahim.
the Carzilla mod,
Open jump shot.
because I really enjoy using that, and I feel like I don't like rely on it, but I feel like I use it enough
The momentum of this game is
where it's like
certainly
I should probably wait just to make sure.
Here's Hughes. Harris outside.
And then he basically said like, hey, listen, I'm not going to have much time to work on it, so it's going to be slower than usual.
And so it looks like the Lakers will retain possession.
Like, oh, okay.
Making a switch here.
Yep.
Harris passes to Hughes.
How can we never get a tip ball? I think we've had it like maybe like once this game.
Pass to Wells.
Wasn't really a tip as much as was just swatting it out of Shaq's big
It's
hand.
gonna be out of bounds. The Magic will take it.
Where was he going with that pass? I mean, that's just an awful turnover.
So much changing of positions going on here. Come on.
Hardaway with it. Got it off in time.
Hey, what's up?
Pretty shot without a
Yeah,
second.
that 24-21 though. It's been kind of a high-powered, high shooting quarter going on.
Game through the first quarter of play. It's the Magic. They're up by 3. And we'll get the second quarter underway on the other side of this break.
Interesting.
Start your new year with the NBA. Go on the road to battle the Boston Celtics this Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern. Don't miss it.
Hey, Glenn Rice and the Celtics. I really, really hope they don't find new and inventive ways to just completely
Here at the start of the second quarter of play.
crap on 2K19. They've gotten my expectations kind of high with a lot of the stuff that they're doing.
He had the hot hand from the three-point line.
They could have that like that moment of oh man, it's been great that they've been able to, you know, have this and that and everything else.
All fueled up and ready to go.
It's just a shame they had to put everything behind VC.
We've got Van Exel.
I don't know. Maybe they learned with 2K18, but probably not.
Now defended by Hardaway.
Or maybe to supplement how good the My League is, they'll just charge extra VC for everything else.
The three-pointer off the mark. Orlando leading by 6. Duncan outside.
Like we heard what you said, and we're gonna change how my career works. So now, whenever you want a haircut, it's 100 VC per hair.
To Wells.
So not like hairstyle, but individual follicles. So that at some point, by the time you end your career, you may or may not have a head of hair.
Finding his range. Good. Hughes got 6. Second quarter, and we're just over a minute in. Here Here's Abdul-Rahim. Yes,
There you
it's
go.
Hardaway picking up the
Let's just
assist.
keep this rolling.
That for a response.
They will say they can give the three as well as they can take the three.
There's the pass to Wells. Dishes to Van Exel. Pass to
No.
Wells. Now Hughes. And he can't answer back. The
Although it will be kind of weird because this might actually be the first year in a long time that I just potentially don't get a WWE game.
Here's Abdul-Rahim. And again, it's Orlando with the three.
Jesus, we're just knocking down everything today.
Outstanding patience and decision making for them offensively.
Yeah, absolutely. Their
It's
ball
odd to
movement
think
is
about that because it's
outstanding.
like I don't think I spent enough time on 2K18 to justify me paying for it. So I don't know if I want to get 2K19 or not.
Passes to Hughes. Van Exel. 6 on the shot clock. Fires from deep. Hughes, good. Hughes got 9.
And he's shaking off a poor first quarter shooting effort. He's really starting to turn it on now, guys.
Abdul-Rahim defended by Wells. Duncan dishes to Wallace. Magic moving the ball around.
There you go, Wallace. There you go, Wallace.
And he was
All right, at least we got that.
now for him.
I'll take that.
That's a mean screen. I know that. I mean, guys just tend to bounce off his body when he sets up.
We're just never going to hit these ever again, are we?
So you love having a guy like that on your team as an offensive friend. Constantly
I
looking to
do
get you
I do really want to I need to put my solid state drive in my computer because I bought one, got a decent deal on it. It was on sale, but I still haven't gotten around to actually installing it because I've been waiting for putting Windows 10 on it. But as far as Windows 10 goes, like I'd like to not have to pay like $200 for a pro version of it. I don't know if I would I probably wouldn't need a pro version of it, but I don't know. I usually tended to get like the best version.
The NBA this month. Magic leading by 7. Passes it to Blunt.
Oh,
Kicks to Hardaway. The Magic again.
man, we were really heating up with that three-point shooting though.
That almost went in.
Yeah, a lot of times he'll
So yeah, I'm at a point where it's like, okay, I'm probably gonna have to,
Retain possession here.
because if I don't do, I'm trying to think, like if I don't do, if I don't do it on this check and get Windows, I'd absolutely have to do it on the next one.
Per game average, Steve, is the highest in the
And
NBA
I'm
in the league in that
I'm also worried about that too, because oh Jesus,
valuable to his team, in my opinion. It's been a solid outing for
how
him.
apropos it is to have
Comes to rebounding.
Penny Hardaway
Nice night there, too.
completely ran over by Shaquille O'Neal.
getting in there and doing a lot of the dirty work for them.
I feel like there's some sort of metaphor going on there.
In the game.
Just O'Neal in a Lakers uniform, just
Down the first one.
plowing over Hardaway.
Here.
That's a lot of three-point shooters, boys.
Off on that one, so he goes 1 for 2 at the line. Outside, Jones.
Oh shit! No,
And almost 4 minutes gone here in
That's
the
all
second
right.
quarter of play. There's the dish to Van Exel.
because I have a feeling that a lot of, because I've always had a feeling since I got Windows 8 that a lot of the issues that I've had, it might be the hardware itself. I don't know, but Windows 8 seems to have been a big
Hornacek against Van Exel. And a foul on the shot.
like a big
It's on Jeff Hornacek. The Lakers have missed 2 free throws.
denominator, like a common denominator for a lot of the issues that I've had with my computer just randomly crashing. Uh-oh, and there went the sound on the...
And the first one at the line is good.
That was odd. Just place went completely quiet.
Both free throws good from Van Exel. Now a timeout called by Orlando. And as with any timeout at this point of the game, important to go over the strategies that are working and those that are needed in terms of adjustments. And, of course, the opportunity, guys, to get hydrated with Gatorade. court coming back onto the floor. We've seen some good action. So far, and there's more of it to come.
Yeah, this game has been physical. It's been fast.
You know what? That's really on me for trying to shoot over Shaq. It's really not the smartest of ideas.
Second chance effort. It's rebounded by Blunt.
Terrific job that time defending at the rim. I mean, it's not an easy task.
He should have. Okay, well, I was gonna say he should have stopped then shot. Would have done a lot better.
Awareness to exploit that lack of coverage on that play.
They could use a big shot here to get this offense going.
Sure could, Kev. I mean, too many empty trips. They need some points.
Now we get a chance to check out the standings out east already. We are in December. You look at Orlando.
Supposedly you can still upgrade to Windows 10 for free. The deal was supposed to end, but it never got switched off on the server end of things. So if I actually turned on my Windows update again, I could probably get it.
They've been effective in just about every aspect of the game. I mean, you can't find too many things that they do wrong. They're a very complete team.
Which is exactly why they've been able to maintain their status, Clark, as one of the favorites for the NBA title.
Oh, shit.
Easy way out against this club.
It'd be so easy if Windows 7 at least allowed half the shit that I now need. Like, it's one of those things where it's like, oh, yeah, they stopped. Like, Windows 7 stopped supporting a lot of stuff I really would have liked to had on there. Oh, my God. How do you blow a dunk like that? Go grab the upgrade tool and run it. Oh, that'd be cool. Yeah, because I think I turned off updates before they started throwing that Windows 10 shit on there. Because yeah, I started getting okay. But yeah, I started getting like I started seeing like the articles about all the people and like Windows 10 basically being forced upon them and all that, and it's just like, well, I'm ahead of you on that one because I already turned all my updates off. I got used to it when I was on Windows 7, just not having any updates for it. Of course, the reason why I didn't have updates for Windows 7 and then did it for Windows 8 are two completely different reasons. Windows 8 was because of the Windows 10 upgrade. Windows 7 is because, well, I really didn't need the operating system to be calling home. Ah!
He feeds it to Howard. Guarded by Hardaway. Jones, the pass to Whitman.
Yeah, it'd be nice if something like Windows 7 actually. I forget what it was that I checked that it didn't allow. There was definitely something. I think it was like USB 3.0. I don't know. There was something seemingly like simple that it's like, oh, Windows 7 doesn't allow this anymore. That's weird. Ah. I thought it was like USB 3.0 that it didn't support. It was something silly. That, you know, it was just one of those things where it was like, okay, yeah, I see that they're really trying to get people to get away from that. And then at least on the upside, I can at least potentially look into certain Microsoft games. I don't know. After Games for Windows Live, I'm always a little worried about doing Microsoft's PC game stuff, because Games for Windows Live was cancer. But I heard that like the new store is at least a little bit better and not as invasive.
They've been really pleased, Kevin, with their three-point game. It's working better for them thanks to some adjustments they've made in their.
And they'll have games that, you know, are first-party games. So I think they got like the Forza Horizon stuff on PC. There's a lot of stuff that is on PC that I am not able to use, mostly because I don't have the store and the Windows 10 and the DirectX 12, because that was another thing. That was another big thing, was like the DirectX 12, which probably has a lot to do with why it takes like a minute and a half if I want to play Madden to load up a game.
Hardaway has got 3 assists tonight.
Look at the combination of size and touch. That's why he's a great finisher down low.
3 seconds separate the shot clock and game clock. There's the feed to Van Exel.
Wow.
Outside leaner, and he drops that one in. Van Exel's got 9 points.
He's finally starting to get it going here offensively.
He dishes it to Hardaway. Here's Abdul Rahim.
Hey, look at this. Our shooting is just on. I like this. I like how on point our shooting is today. It's been fantastic.
And we finished one half of basketball. Magic lead by 7. 2K Sports back in a moment from the Amway Center.
And now, brought to you by Sprint.
It's been a great game out in Orlando. Thanks for joining us.
Shareef. We got to be spreading that ball around quite a bit then.
Playing well. Their second unit giving them instant offense. They've gone to their bench for scoring, and they've answered the call. And on the other hand,
I think that's usually how our team rolls. I think that's usually how we tend to win some of our games, is that our bench outscores their bench.
And now, let's check out the other games still going on. New York leading against the Bobcats at Time Warner Cable Arena. 5 points out in front in the second. And another one also in progress. Out at the United Center, the Bulls have the lead against the Kings. Second half of basketball just getting started for them. And another game going on for the
Spurs just destroying the Nuggets. Trailblazers just destroying the Grizzlies.
That will be all for us. Thanks for stopping in.
I think the Spurs have, because I think I'd looked at it real quick when I traded out. I don't remember if I traded Marbury or not. I'm pretty sure I probably did. But yeah, as far as Marbury goes, I saw him on the Spurs, and they're not utilizing him as like a starter. So he's just like, yeah, I'm sick of this shit. I'm done. I'm totally leaving as soon as humanly possible. Shingo angle slam Takayama out of the ring. Nice. It just makes me want management mode.
Shot clock at 6. Back to Van Exel.
Oh my god. Like the one thing in my head that I knew for sure, as far as, because going back to like the TEW thing, is it's like I have very few ideas on what I want to do for the next few months, but I know I want to import some more Tokyo Joshi Pro wrestlers. Just more Joshis. I actually thought about that because I think, obviously he's not here, but I think David had made a joke about that where he's like, it's really odd to see like the center of professional wrestling in Iowa. And I kind of thought about it, and I'm like, you know what? That actually isn't that far-fetched, to be completely honest. Like, because, okay, professional wrestling kind of, sort of, but, you know, building, you know, some of the best professional wrestlers were amateur wrestlers. And, like, Iowa and Minnesota are, like, the two states here that basically breed amateur wrestlers. Like a lot of the top collegiate athletes, if they're like a big time amateur wrestler, they probably there's a pretty decent chance they came out of Iowa, Iowa State, or Minnesota. Oh. I think sometimes Wisconsin.
There's no wrong answer to that one, my friend. Sensational alley-oop all the way around.
Yeah. Do we get double? Still went in anyway.
They'll count the basket.
And the crowd immediately letting the officials have it after that whistle.
A very unpopular call there.
But yeah, I don't know why it's taken me forever to actually put in my solid state drive.
He draws the foul on the shot.
I just know, because it's only 250 gigs, but I just know as soon as I do that, like I think the most essential stuff is going to be the stuff that actually goes on that hard drive. Where it's like, all right, operating system, and then the latest NBA 2K. That's probably where I'll start putting my like stream videos. And then at that point, I don't know. Maybe I'll switch drives on my TEW. I don't know if it's gonna do that much, but you never know.
Again, the Magic score. I like the way they've played here in the first half. Just an intelligent floor game, getting good shots.
Numbers certainly back that up. They're shooting a much better percentage.
Now Van Exel. He's got 11. Outside, Jones. Down to 5 on the shot clock. Hardaway with the steal.
Hey. And one. Suck it, Jawan. Hey, and we got the and one. Holy crap. What is today?
And then failing to get back in transition.
Looking at who's out there now for the Lakers. Knights checked in for Shaq. King comes in for Juwan Howard. And Harris subbed in for Jones. Here's Harris. 6 to shoot. Offensive rebound.
Oh, poo.
And
Hey.
gonna count, folks. Gets the goaltending call right there.
He didn't
It's
get to that
Wednesday.
one quite in time, Kevin. Those can be tough to gauge sometimes.
Technically, yes.
Third quarter action and just under 3.5 minutes have gone. Cato, he's guarded by Knight.
Yeah, you know, these
Oh,
games can be
God.
some of the toughest in the game for the officials.
It all happened so fast, but I really think that was the right call. The defender was not really set in that situation.
I saw they have Prison Architect on the Switch now.
Switch here. Hughes is checked.
By the way, that was the most random thing to see this morning. It was like, by the way, oh, come on. That was the most random thing to see on Twitter. Is be like, oh yeah, at Gamescom they announced Saints Row the Third for the Switch. I'm like, okay, sure, why not?
Pass to Hughes. From deep.
It's like that's the most out of left field announcement.
King outside.
At least it's the good. At least it's well, okay. A lot of people would argue that Saints Row 2 is the best Saints Row. I'd argue that it's 3.
More often than not today, those shots have not dropped for him.
It is a good co-op game. I forgot it was as co-op as it was. I think I played 4 co-op. No, I think I think I played both 3 and 4 co-op. I think 4 was like, I know it was the superhero-esque one. I think was 4 the one where they were mostly aboard the ship too. I think that was it. Beat it once on your own, then 2 more times with different friends. Nice. I know I beat it once. I beat both Saints Row 3 and 4 once, and I can't remember if I think I beat 3. I think I beat 3 and 4 with friends, or maybe I beat 3 with a friend, and then 4 on my own because the other friends got bored of it eventually.
The Magic have gone 6 of 10 from the field in the third quarter.
I mean, he's got a hot hand. Let's heat check that. Well,
And it's King with the
you know,
rebound. The Lakers have
things
gone
happen.
so far 4 of 10.
Then I saw they finally got a date on Shenmue 3.
And the basket by Harris.
That's cool. All right. Well, we got a slight advantage. Well, never mind. He didn't even
Because whenever they
try.
have gotten the ball into the paint, it's resulted in points, it seems.
Oh,
Once again off the mark, Orlando.
I was gonna say that was one of the things I was just thinking about not long ago. Actually, 2 things that like really it was weird how it crossed my mind the way it did, because one thing that crossed my mind is the Shenmue 3 and Final Fantasy 7 remake announcements, and I remember that because it was like I was just sitting there thinking, I'm like, whatever happened to those? They announced them and, you know, said they're working on them, and then you didn't really hear anything. And then they announced Shenmue 3 getting a release date, and it's like, okay, well, there it is at least. Now it's time to find out whenever they get around to Final Fantasy VII Remake. Because they it felt like both of those were announced, and it was amazing, and then they went radio silent after that. Maybe I just wasn't paying enough attention, who knows. But it kind of came out of nowhere for me, because I was just thinking, like, oh, whatever happened to those? And then I think I was watching I think it was like yesterday at work. I was watching a video about games to, like, avoid. And I would agree with a good portion of them, because I remember hearing how bad they were. And I think they were talking about Brawlout, which I do own, and I think it's a decent enough game for what it is. You know, it could be better, but it could be a lot worse. And I was just thinking, like, yeah, Brawlout, you know. But I didn't have as much fun with Brawlout as I did with Brawlhalla. And I just remember thinking, I'm like, Brawlhalla would be nice to come to the Switch. I think it seems like a perfect candidate to come to the Switch. You know, especially with as long as they get it out before Smash, you know, they might have a fighting chance at making something on it. And then this morning they announced Brawlhalla, and I'm like, oh shit, okay. Yeah, because I got a buddy of mine who, if I ever go to his house and he has his PS4 hooked up, he has Brawlhalla. He just plays it for free. He doesn't care enough to he doesn't care enough to waste his money like I would on making sure you unlock characters. He'll just roll with the free characters. Me, I'm more the kind to, you know, spend my money on characters. Hey.
He's played an important role in their offense today, guys. Without him, they may not be in the lead.
He's got his 4th free throw of the game.
Well, of course, we'd all like to see that free throw percentage improve.
But yeah, I did enjoy it. I enjoyed it a little bit more than Brawlout. So I'll probably at least download it, and then, you know, it's probably one of those things that I'll download it for free, and then I'll have it. And then if I decide to spend any money on it, it'll happen after that point. Even if it's only like $10 to get some, you know, characters that I might want. I don't know if there's probably a price point on it to unlock everything. It's not really. It doesn't seem like a huge game where they would try to piece by piece sell things. I would guess there's probably something that you could pay to make it like a general unlock everything.
And thanks again for joining us. Let's see what happens here in the 4th. Lakers trail by 16. Jones is out there with Van Exel. Then there's Juwan Howard. Then there's Shaquille O'Neal. That's the Laker 5. Inside.
Somehow ignores the tight D. I know how he was able to ignore the tight D, because his name is Shaquille O'Neal, and that's what a Shaquille O'Neal does. Especially a 1998 Shaquille O'Neal. 1998 Shaquille O'Neal don't give a fuck about your defense. I was trying to think. I think the best. I'm trying to think when Shaq's prime was. Like, it is definitely around 98, but I don't know what year would be best. Like, it was statistically what his best year was. I think it was probably like 2001, 2002, maybe.
Yeah, they need a basket just to regain some momentum here, Kevin.
Right when they were in the full swing of, I would assume it'd be one of the years they won the title. Oh.
tell you what, coaches love to see that kind of hustle, guys. I mean, getting after.
Oh, come on.
That's always a winning play.
Absolutely.
Now, coaches love to see the hustle, but the fans love to see the dunk.
I'm going to hate playing against the Celtics, though.
Just about 1.5.
I saw they made a trade and got some extra players and basically made their 1999 version of a super team.
Magic leading
That's
by
just
14.
irritating.
He kicks it to
Oh,
Orlando
there you go.
moving the ball around. And there's the whistle.
Hey, got it.
Shot. He'll go to the line.
Really an extraordinary game for Wallace.
No, we don't got it.
One rejection in this game, too.
And it was a good one, too. Really one of the highlights, I thought, of the game defensively.
So he comes up empty, missing both. Back to Shaq. Pass to Whit.
Man, already got a solid double-double.
The feed to Howard. Shot clock at 6. And so he earns a trip to the line. Official saw the contact and he'll shoot 2.
Trying to remember if I looked at anything else.
Jeff Hornacek. He's checked
I guess I didn't check to see if they announced anything else for the Switch today. I assume they did all that. Hey, David.
Howard hits them both.
100% free throw shooting this half, guys.
Efficiency is so crucial when you're trying to overcome a deficit, Steve.
Backing him down.
Screw it. Let's go, Kobe. Aw.
That misses off the backboard.
Great close out there.
Pretty much great from the start of his career. Highest points per game, 98, but he averaged at least 26 since the beginning of his career.
Pushes it to O'Neal.
He had to have had a slowdown.
To Harris.
Like, by the time I think he got to Cleveland, he definitely had a slowdown.
Howard up on top.
I think he was still great even when he was in Phoenix.
Grabs the miss.
Probably gets to attribute a lot of it to Steve Nash, but hey, Budden, what's up?
The rebound by the Lakers.
Pooh. That's all right. I think we definitely still have this though.
Wallace.
He sucked in Miami. Wade carried his ass.
O'Neal. It's taken
That makes sense. So that was pretty much at the end of his Lakers run is when he was pretty much toast,
from beyond the arc.
skill level wise. Because I remember his Cavaliers days were. I don't remember anything about his Cavaliers days. His Celtics days were certainly something.
This is to Harris. He passes to Whit.
And I remember very few things about his Suns days other than Hack-a-Shaq becoming a strategy with San Antonio and the two different times that he, and the time that he cleared the bench going after a loose ball.
It's good, and he drew
Hey.
shot, so he will go to the line. A three-point play chance here. And Orlando making a change here. Hardaway's checked in. The Lakers with the ball. They've given up just 8 points in the fourth quarter.
Jay Hydrated Bot won't show up for another 15 minutes, but I needed something to drink.
A little bit of a defensive breakdown there. He's not the guy you want to leave open on the perimeter.
It's an
You've got to
odd
stay
taste.
attached to him.
Number 11. And they wasted no time getting those 3 points back.
This is incredible.
I tried something a little bit different with my water enhancers. Bought like this raspberry and lemonade.
By accident. It has been
It's interesting.
Stripped it away.
I don't know what to think of it other than it's a little bit like it's as tangy as I thought it was, but then it feels like it has like an extra taste.
Fact that he didn't get there in time.
Oh, hey, just as soon as I fucking said something.
And he makes the first.
Hey.
That's also good. So he hits both free throws. Here's Jones. Kicks it to Howard.
I don't know. Today's just felt like an odd day.
Pass to Whitney. That's good. And so Howard with the assist.
Like I've just been waiting for the day to end.
Assists in the game. Wallace attacking.
It's not like sad or depressed or anything like that. I think just tired and kind of bored. It's like I don't want to do anything productive besides what I have to do, which is work. But other than that, I don't want to be productive today. That's the kind of day I've been having.
Foul called on the shot. Got him on the way up that time, so he'll shoot two right here.
And the defense fouling there to prevent that layup. Forcing 2 free throws here.
Nice job that time of attacking the paint and drawing the contact. They'll take that.
Lakers trail by 16.
I want to see if I can
And
just...
the Lakers call time here. Have to like what we're seeing from Wallace.
And he's getting to the rack all game, and if they can't do a better job of keeping him out of the paint, they're in for a long night.
This is what I just want to do now.
Here's Pugliata, and it's good.
See what happens if I just start like throwing my guys down. Monday, you're up 28 hours. Jesus.
How hard they're playing. I mean, that kind of effort is a winning effort. They're working the ball inside and trying to do what they can to get back in it.
Orlando leading by 13.
Yeah, I've been having to deal with changing my sleep schedule back to normal. So I had like 4 hours Monday.
Takes it into the teeth.
And then I just had to do work, and I was just like, just dead at work.
Lakers have gone
I was just like, man, I'm going to do my work. And I'm going to hope nothing happens so that I could just be a bump on a log on my phone watching YouTube. That was my work day. It's like I'm going to do what I need to do, no more, no less, and watch YouTube.
5 to shoot. Goes up
You
on
nearly
the-
fell asleep in a nightclub, Jesus.
Orlando with the rebound. Wallace has got 4 rebounds in this game. The dish to Duncan. Working on Howard. Outside Hardaway.
Oh, we've been doing so good, too. No, pass it.
He's covered by
Oh, what the hell. Stayed up for SummerSlam, then went out that night. It was such a terrible decision.
Hardaway
That
with the
sounds like it.
back to Duncan. He's covered by Whitney.
Yeah, that was another thing too. Is I had to set my alarm to get up in time for SummerSlam. That's how my days were going.
Gone south for him.
Where it was like I ain't gonna wake up before 6 p.m. if I don't set an alarm.
To Whitney. Pulls up.
So I'm gonna make sure I wake up in time for SummerSlam.
Assist.
That's a pretty good finish to a very shaky offensive possession.
Duncan
Hey,
was put in just the right spot. And the Magic lead by 15.
It hasn't happened as quickly as he would have liked, but he's finally putting some points on the board in this game.
Doris Burke has an update for us. Doris?
Hey, Kevin, during that last break, I heard the Lakers coach as he addressed his team. He told his guys, it's time to turn it up a little and try to make a push. We've worked too hard to come away empty-handed. Let's put this thing away. Kevin, we'll see if they can get it done.
6 p.m. for a pay-per-view. I envy you. Yeah, understandable.
Harris passes to Whitney. And here is King. The feed now to Harris. Lakers working the
Oh,
ball
tomorrow's
now.
Wednesday, which is usually a good day for if I want to eat
Whitney from pass to
cheap and like shit.
but they'll get another chance.
Nice job on the offensive glass.
At one of the gas stations, they're not like known for pizza, but they do some pretty decent pizza. And on Wednesdays, a gas station down the road from my work on Wednesdays does $1 pizza slice Wednesdays. They do okay.
Their lead has grown over
It's not great, but it's not terrible.
Really saved their best for last.
It's definitely terrible for you because it's one of those types of pizzas where you can like see the grease
Now Whitney
on the bottom of the little tray.
out to Harris. And so it's Orlando taking
Hey.
this one by a big margin.
You're eating cold Domino's right now. Nice.
They never let up. They were full throttle from the start.
And that'll do it for Clark Kellogg, Steve Kerr, and Doris Burke. This is Kevin Harlan saying so long and thanks for joining us as we leave you with the Jordan player of the game.
Lee Mayberry, boys. Look at that shit. Lee fucking Mayberry leading the team this time. 17 points. It wasn't Wallace. It wasn't Shareef. It wasn't Penny. It wasn't Duncan. It was Lee fucking Mayberry. To be fair, though, I feel like Wallace probably contributed a little bit more stat-wise. I'm going to go on an assumption here. Yeah, but I guess he wasn't as consistent as the 5 for 6 from 3 by Mayberry. So that may have contributed to it. Oh, yeah, Michael Jordan's out with a broken jaw. Let's see, yeah. To the Sonics. I remember right, Sonics are 3 out of 4 losses. What the hell? They lost to the Pistons and the Kings and the Raptors. What the fuck? Join the Bucks in my career after you won back-to-back championships for 30th ranked Miami. Nice. I feel like because I've been playing through some of the show, and I feel like
Thanks for tuning into 2K Sports' presentation of the
I feel like their contracts are set up like the idea of like hating being on a team until you just like it. Because I was so against being on the Tigers in my road to the show, and then I was like, you know what? I guess this ain't too bad. I can't complain too much. This is some ridiculousness, by the way. Goddamn. Tim Hardaway, Reggie Miller, Sean Kemp. Rozier's there, but I don't. Did they trade him away, or is he on the bench? Okay, there was a very short amount of time. He's not here. They must have traded him away for Rozier or somebody. I think Yinkadare. Because for a very small amount of time, when I looked at their lineup, it had Karl Malone sitting in here. So you had Tim Hardaway, Reggie Miller, Sean Kemp, and Karl Malone as like 4 of your starting 5. And it was just unfair. I still don't know if I'm going to trust my career, though. It'll be interesting to see if I do. Like, I think I'll just stick to my league like I did this year. It's still worth the money for me, even if I'm just doing my league. Never experienced a late night mania party, yeah.
Different people carrying the load, scoring, making assists, unselfish play. Everything was working for him to get that victory.
Gotta say I haven't. I can only imagine what like a real late night mania party is like.
Kicks to Hardaway. Miller outside. Back to Hardaway.
We just gonna let Kemp grab that? Okay, cool. Great. Appreciate it.
The Supersonics shooting their first free throws of this one. And that one falls for Kemp. And so Kemp nails both of them.
Hey.
Here's Orlando now.
It was a very one-sided matchup last year, that's for sure. They came up empty.
What? Why?
And in the game played in their home building.
He kicks to Miller.
This is gonna be one of those games where I'm just
First quarter play, 1 minute played. Outside Hardaway. Shoots. And misses it off the right side of the rim. Steve, moments ago talking about last year's meeting, that was probably hard to swallow for a team that was typically...
Oh, damn it. I was going to start hauling ass towards the...
You know, Kevin, there's still no shame
towards the hoop with that.
Losing twice to these guys. It happened to a lot of teams, even some very good ones. So they need to keep their heads
Shit.
And it's on a
All right,
bounce
we're
to the
good.
Magic as Orlando
Everything's good.
will retain possession. Duncan outside. 6 to shoot.
Aww.
First shot of the game. Gone 1 of
Shareef, you're supposed to be the all-around threat. You're supposed to be the amazing post guy and the great shooter. Weirdest Mania after party ever in New Orleans that WWN held. Interesting. Yeah, I guess I didn't really have anything when I was in Orlando, except for the Wrestle Circus Wrestling Revolver thing.
Well, I asked him what strategy they were going to use at the offensive end, and he told me that they did not want to have to rely on their perimeter game. Instead, he plans to exploit what he described as a mismatch on the interior, saying, quote, "We have the talent inside to make things very difficult on them. We're going to use it." Kevin?
Thanks, Doris. Magic have gone 2 for 4 from the field so far today. And
I don't know what the hell that was.
here's the 2K leaderboard. These teams
Don't know why they did that.
3-point land in the last 10.
The main factor, I think, is the great spacing that has led to wide open long-range shots.
Is the Wrestle Circus still going? I have no idea.
And it's Seattle.
I don't really pay enough attention. I haven't heard jack shit about Wrestle Circus in a little while, to be honest.
Inside to Kemp. Duncan on him. Number 2. Foul call that time on the way up. That'll give him 2 chances at the free throw line here.
Well, at least the defender got his money's worth on that one.
Yep, that was an easy whistle for the official.
Seattle's taking their 3rd and 4th free throw shots of the night.
And you look at the numbers for this season, guys, from the free throw line, they're shooting 77%.
Really, guys, it's just come together for them at the charity stripe this season. I mean, the confidence is there, and so too are the results.
And Seattle making a change here. And he's good on the second.
Boy.
The Magic trail by 3.
Mm.
The pass to Bibby. Good ball movement here by the Magic. Backing down is Wallace.
Hey, we got the and one.
Calls the foul.
I'll take it.
Shoot one more at the free throw line.
Uh-oh.
Terrific play right there. Great strength to finish through the hip. That's how you do it. The bump and
Keith,
the
he
bump.
was the MC of the Kaiju Big Battle show. It wasn't even the weird part. He had drunk off his ass Joey Janela. Falling and bumping. Ugh.
One misses. Now about 3 minutes gone in the first quarter.
This was just Phil during the end, just working drunk and bumping.
It's gonna be out of bounds. We'll take it.
Dan Barry tried to call on Nick Gage. Nick didn't want anything to do with it.
The basketball has been fantastic. Second in field goal percentage. Seventh
Thanks.
in
Stay hydrated, bot. Appreciate it.
in the league in blocked shots per game. So he's a real force.
I need like a stay caffeinated bot.
Field goal percentage against
Just a bot that shows up every once in a while. Like, hey, have you gotten yourself a coffee or something?
most of it is just
Might be a good idea.
making most of it.
And it's Seattle with the ball. Following the three-pointer by Orlando. Maybe against Hardaway. It's hauled in by Duncan.
Or a stay asleep bot.
Orlando's gone 1 of 2 from long range in the
I
first
just need like a bot that shows up when I'm on my phone in bed going, hey, how about you fucking go to sleep?
kept alive. Tries again.
What in the hell was that movement?
The foul call. He'll shoot free throws.
Well, in any discussion about him, the first thing that has to come to mind is his skill as a passer.
Yeah, he's a world-class distributor, if you will, and the unselfish attitude translates to the whole team. I mean, I'd love to see what their assists to made baskets ratio is.
And the Magic making a change here. Hornacek's checked in. Duncan, the pass to Bibby. Backing down.
Oh,
Duncan
oh,
high post. That's tipped.
oh.
Another shot.
Couldn't believe that wasn't considered a,
Shot.
Well, at least the defender got it.
what's a who's it's
Easy whistle for the official.
The Magic shooting their 5th and 6th free
like
throws.
basket interference or goaltending.
Throw is good. The super
That's the kind of thing that ends up getting me whistled for something.
and the first time out of the game called for Seattle.
constructed a perfect offensive game plan going into that game, and it was quickly apparent how powerless the defense was to stop it.
Powerless is a good way to put it, Steve. We're unlikely
Oh,
to see that
Jesus.
many uncontested baskets again anytime soon.
Sonics trail by 4.
I'm glad I haven't really planned on anything after this. I plan on just doing a shorter stream
They got to get going.
because I'm just unbelievably tired, and I just dropped my controller and then had to pick it back up.
Shot clock at 6.
I feel like at the point where it's like, well, I'm just dropping my controller now for no reason. It's probably
51.
good enough reason to say, you know what? I think
4-second violation.
I could do this sleep thing
Change here. Alston's checked
a little
in.
bit sooner.
Here's Hornacek. 14
This will be a
points.
quality YouTube video. It'll be such a quality YouTube video.
Alston.
Just me randomly rambling about stuff. That's generally what I tend to do at that point.
His first points of the game.
And now
Is
we
just
can see them really
just
working
talk
against
about
that.
stuff.
Taking advantage of the defense, really pounding it down low.
And it's Seattle with the ball. They trail by 6. There's a good screen.
This is one of those times where I'm glad there's not like a webcam or anything. I actually did find a webcam I used to have. The lens at some point popped out of it, so it's not really useful. Oh, that's not the right person. I thought you were Shareef.
Was thinking there.
Oh, there's not even a Shareef out here.
Number 16. Yes, and it's Hardaway picking up the assist.
Nice
But I found a
accurate
webcam,
pass
but
right into the middle.
I feel like if I'm gonna do a new one, I'm probably like I'd have to get a new one. I wouldn't use the one I got.
4. Now the feed to Bibby.
Bibby can handle it.
There's the 3.
No.
Rebound
Oh.
by the Sonics.
Well, that's clearly a situation you want to make sure you don't.
I was just trying to really show my best Mike Bibby impression from Big 3 and just have him
Here is Hawkins.
throw it up.
Now averaging 7 points a game. The jump hook
Oh,
off the
there we
rim
go.
and out.
You can see how much the defense respects him. I mean, they were all over him on that look.
Here's Alston. Gets it to go.
Hey, I'll take that.
Alston's got his
Why
second
not?
basket of the night.
They've done well at taking advantage of some late defensive rotation.
I was gonna do 3 games, but it's one of those times where it's like maybe I might only get away with 2. I'd hate to do a stream under 2 hours,
Pass to Hawkins.
but I did do like a 5-hour stream on Saturday, and that's when I was like really just a useless sack of nothing
Here's Fortson.
on Saturday.
Sonics again can't hit.
Looked like he rushed that one.
Mostly because of Friday. Friday was just one of those weird days where
Number 11.
I wasn't.
Oh, that's blocked.
I was just having fun and partying with friends, and then like it just led into an awful Saturday where I just
He's covered by Alston.
forgot to care about life at all.
Right in his face.
I just like spat on my microphone. Like I just had like leftover saliva in my mouth
The Magic will retain
that I just put
possession.
all over my mic. God damn it.
Almost halfway through the season. Let's check out the standings out west.
I'm trying not to make it
Looking extremely sharp right now. Poised
like
in the top
too
spot, playing
loud and
very
noisy. Just wanted to wipe it off.
well. Orlando with the ball.
Oh,
Quick 3. They
it's the first time that's happened this stream.
Yeah, just have to time it right. Make sure you work the clock correctly.
Like to trivium songs, you know, the head from Madden and spectators are all for the past week ever since I'll host the lead singers Twitch after the stream. Oh, cool.
6 seconds separating the shot and game clock.
It's really weird. I'm not much of a watch. It's for as much as I spend
Well, Clark,
like
clear lane to the basket and the
streaming is weird because I don't really like to watch streamers.
No choice but to take that one to the bucket.
There's very few I really like to watch.
5 on the clock. Lets it go from 14. Number 51. And it's blocked by Blunt.
Oh,
Does it for the first quarter. Magic lead by 6. And the second quarter will get underway just after this short break.
Coming up next Sunday night, January 10th, the Atlanta Hawks. Big time hoops coming your way.
And now the second quarter just getting set to start.
Calling out. I mean, there, like I said, there's very few I like to watch, so you know, there's someone I like to watch, but yeah, it's not. I don't know.
Really well tonight too. I mean, a decent number of assists so far for him.
All fueled up and ready to go. Let's reset the lineups courtesy of
Oh.
as the second quarter gets going. On the court for Orlando.
Nah, it's. I don't even. I feel like you're just making drama now. I know it's not even drama, but it's just a joke. But yeah, there you go.
Hardaway's got the first pass.
My brain is not firing on all synapses, so this happened Monday when my roommate was like talking to me, but he wasn't like. I knew he was streaming, so like when he was like saying, "Hey, what's up?" I'm like, "Are you talking to me?" He's like, "Yes, I'm talking to you," and I'm like, "All right, I'm not in the right frame of mind to be dealing in subtleties. You need to like keep things super simple and direct because
Here's Blunt.
I'm not in the mood for thinking today."
He can't extend the lead to double digits.
This guy's a good three-point shooter, but that was probably from a little bit too far.
Live stream fails streamer rants about not being. Oh my god.
Number 2 uses the glass to finish the layup. He has
What's weird is you're talking about it like they're actually one of the few I like watching.
Be a tough one to deal with.
I don't know, like, you know, the ones I'm sub to, it's like, yeah, I enjoy watching them.
through contact on the shot, so he will
Because there's other streamers that I've seen stream, and it's like, I don't know.
making a change here.
I think I'm just really picky sometimes.
Line tonight.
Like I've been hearing, you know, you guys talked all yesterday about like GTA role-playing streams.
Line over and over again because
And I don't know, like there's whole like stories interweaved and everything, and that seems okay, but I don't know if I'd want to like, I don't know if I'd be super into it. I don't know. The last time I've ever like checked on regular streamers before was because of VR chat, and it generally had to be like some specific people.
And so he hits both.
And that's because they were being like,
Backing him down is Duncan.
they were just being super funny. Oh.
We're now about 2 minutes into the second quarter. Kempa screen on Bibby. Hardaway kicks to Miller.
By the way, I just thought about that because that was huge in January. It's now August, and I've heard not one friggin' thing about VR chat in quite a while now. So that thing really did like
Assist by Miller is
come and go quickly, didn't it? Because I remember that being a thing where it was like, oh yeah, they got all these like new streamers with a bunch of followers and subscribers and such, but they don't want to make them Twitch partner because they think the VR chat's just gonna die.
that one to go in.
And sure enough, it kind of did.
Hardaway for three.
I heard a lot of it might have had to do with the developers themselves
Sonic straight
being kind of weird about rules and stuff.
3 minutes of action so far in the second quarter.
Most of them did make partner. Oh
To
wow!
Honeycutt. Back to Hardaway.
But do they like do stuff?
No luck. And Orlando will
Like I'm imagining certain people like just not like the charm of them not translating to other games. Like there's some of them that like I can like, because I'm pretty sure that there was a good handful of them that I know were streaming beforehand. Like they already did streaming stuff. And then there were guys who were like so specific to VR chat that it would
Hardaway has got 5 points.
it would almost weird me out if I found out that they, I don't know, just did some other random thing. I felt something on my head that almost felt like a giant bug, but I think it was just like my hair combined with just nerves in it. I don't know.
Like he's doing here. Otherwise, you know, things can get out of hand. So this is
It felt way too big to not be noticeable if I was looking around to see something fly around.
And a good time here to go over our 2K leaderboard and see which point guards have had the hottest hand at the free throw line over the last 10 games. And Seattle making a change here. Foyle's checked in. Closing in on 4 minutes played here in the second quarter. Here's the three, and there's Penny Hardaway.
Hey.
By Bibby. Hardaway has got 6.
Sometimes you watch Recful Gree, Gating and Locus and Gree streams. You watch Recful more than them. Basically, the morning of story, you only like certain variety streamers. When they aren't playing variety, you tune out. I could only imagine the people who do like variety streams. Like, I can only imagine some of the people who like maybe did variety streams for a while and then they just do Fortnite right now. I'm sure there's a lot of people like that who didn't have that much until they started doing Fortnite. Or they're known for something completely different and then they just start randomly it's like, I've never done video games on my streams before, but I'm gonna do Fortnite.
And a great assist by Miller as that one goes in. Miller's got 4 assists now tonight. Hardaway kicks to Wallace.
Oh, that would have been perfect if we actually made it work.
And out of bounds as the Magic will gain possession.
I think I wouldn't mock it if it wasn't for the idea of them playing something at least like not super popular. Like even if they played something like NBA or something like that, it's like, okay, they probably have like a passing interest. They at least probably have a decent interest in it, you know.
He's one of the best shot blockers in the game in terms of his ranking, so no surprise.
But it's always just whatever the flavor of the month game is. Like, I remember seeing a lot of people, like, on Overwatch when Overwatch was, like, the big thing. And it was PUBG for a while, and then it was Fortnite. Playing WoW. I mean, that's not too bad.
This is his 3rd trip to the free throw line.
Well, of course, we'd all like to see that free throw percentage improve. I mean, he does not have the touch in the 60s.
And guys, it's something that he's gonna have to work on more and more because he's still
I'm just not gonna hit them. Don't worry. Hey, finally got an excellent. When was the last time I got an excellent release in free throws? It is always amazing to see someone play WoW because I think WoW's like a pretty popular game, but I think that's how you can determine certain people from others if they were like a variety type streamer or something. They mostly did like other stuff. Like I feel like I would drive a lot of people away if I just started playing Fortnite every single day. It's like, hey guys, I'm into this new game called Fortnite, and just like lose the people who would be interested in wrestling or basketball or anything like that, and then just get a bunch of Fortnite people. And then once that stopped becoming like the cool thing, just lose all those people again. But then by that point, I'll have alienated everyone who didn't come for Fortnite all the time. You giving me shit the whole time or rarely be around? Yeah. That should just be like a side project to try to make money. Like I just make a completely different channel unrelated to this where I just play Fortnite on the days I don't stream here, just to try to make money. Or I'll try to make kids content on YouTube. That seems to be a good way to make money.
Taking a look at Toronto, and not a surprise really to see them sitting there in that number 1 spot in the conference. The excellent brand of basketball they've been putting on display lately has been terrific.
Roblox.
Right on their heels and with their sights set on gaining ground.
Checking out Orlando.
Oh, damn it.
Nobody by surprise this year. I mean, they've got a tremendous track record in the talent.
How your channel stand out for the thousands of other Fortnite channels trying to do the same thing? It's a good point. I don't know. To be fair, it's really odd to see. Like, I've scrolled before at like 5 in the morning, and it's always amazing to me just how many people there are who just just are streaming all at the same time, and how many people are just watching. Like, it's one of those insane things where it's like there's like even some of these small streamers that might just have like 20 people watching, they still have 20 people just sitting and watching them play Fortnite. I'm always amazed because at any given time there's just thousands of channels playing this. To be fair though, I mean, they're going to show you ones with viewers, but I can only imagine how many are doing it like right now. Like, I can only imagine how like the people who are doing it right now who just don't have viewers. Like, this is the thing they're gonna do. They're gonna play Fortnite, and no one cares. Ah, he's just like whistle.
Question is, do they go 2 for 1 here?
Can they get a good shot in time? That's the question.
Here's Foyle.
Hey.
Out of bounds. Seattle will retain possession. Tim Duncan, he's checked in for Orlando.
I did see like a conversation about what was it, Dead or Alive 6 today. And there's like a big conversation about Dead or Alive 6, and like there's the idea that I guess they came out with like a gameplay trailer or something today. Something at Gamescom. And like even some of the guys who are like big Dead or Alive fans are like, they're just kind of like, yeah, it looks like it'll be pretty okay. You know, I'm kind of excited. Like they're just trying to talk themselves into being excited for it. And I remember someone was talking about how DOA is probably losing like one of its biggest appeals. And that it's like, well, if you're losing some of your biggest appeals, there's better games out there. Like the new Soul Calibur is coming out, as in boobs, yes.
Just battling for supremacy. Tremendous defensive effort out there. They're challenging every shot and sending them into the third row. Penny Hardaway off to a good start. His shooting percentage
that was something someone was talking about. They were just like, you know, I feel like, because it's like if you take away that aspect, it doesn't really have anything specific going for it. Because there's mechanically better fighting games. Like people were someone was talking about Soul Calibur and the next Tekken season. Someone even mentioned Melty Blood too, which also reminded me that I haven't played Melty Blood in forever. Like I kind of sort of got into it, and then I just kind of like stopped playing it. I should really try that again.
And here's a look at the other NBA action from around the league. The Kings have the lead out in Sacramento against.
Wow, the Jazz just killing the Lakers.
And that's all there is for me here in the studio. Time to send you back to my friend Kevin.
The Sprint.
Hey, that's cool.
Presented by Sprint.
Welcome back as we take a look at the Central Business District here in Dallas, Texas.
Not Dallas.
Tim Hardaway. He's really been playing
34-33 at the half. It's like a college game.
I'll tell you what, his talent was on full display there in the first half.
Steve, he is a hard man to keep down.
Why was it a C? He just kind of stood there. But, I mean, I'll take it. Why not?
They've got Robinson. Hardaway is out there with Miller. Then to Sean Kemp. On the wing, Miller. Miller off a pick from Robinson.
You watch fighting games for so long. When it's a new release, Fighters Z was an exception since you're a Dragon Ball fan. Everything else, it has to be something special. Yeah.
Number 2. And foul called as he misses. He'll go to the line and shoot 2. Here's an opportunity for us now to focus on some small forwards who play anything but small. The leading shot blockers at the 3 spot. He shot 2 free throws in the game, made 1 and missed 1.
Well, not the best statistic for him. I mean, his performance at the line.
That's all right. All these fighting games trying to come out, and then Smash is going to come out, and people are going to forget about it. Even with Fire Z, once you watch the story, you're done with it. Yeah. I actually bought Injustice 2. And, like, I bought Injustice 2, and then I promptly forgot that I bought Injustice 2. I didn't ever really complete the story.
Yeah, very smart foul under the circumstances. You can't allow him
that was what you would generally call a regretful purchase. I don't know how much I'd get. I haven't traded in a game, honestly, at GameStop in God knows how long.
I mean, he still managed to get it done at the charity stripe.
I could probably get a little bit more if I were to just try to sell it on Amazon or eBay, but
The screen from Kemp. Maybe against Hardaway.
yeah, it was one of those things. I was watching an Injustice 2 video. Like it was just in my recommended talk. Like, I can't remember who it was talking about Injustice 2. I think it was just like a commentary video on it about some of the dumb moments that happened in it. And then I was like watching it going, huh? And I was like, oh yeah, I have that. Don't know when that happened. It had to have been like I think it was like a year ago, because like this female I was interested in, the girl that I was interested in was talking about it. She said that'd be pretty. She's like, yeah, it seems like it'd be a really cool game. I'm really interested in playing it. And I think I just was like, I'm gonna go get it now. And then we hung out and played it, but then, of course, not a whole lot came of that. So, gaming shouldn't cater to your interests regardless of this. And you see a diamond in the rough. It's sweet, dear cheap bastard, picky taste, and don't consider yourself a gamer. I feel like I'm way too surrounded in video games to even try to get away with saying I'm not a gamer. I'm definitely one. I don't really watch TV anymore. That's usually the thing. So when my mom tells me to get off the video games, I always feel like I have to. I always feel like I have to at least mention the fact that, like, it's weird because I do watch TV shows. And I do enjoy movies, but I've enjoyed them both a lot less, mostly because I got rid of Netflix. Well, I got rid of Netflix because someone stole my Netflix account and they were still charging my card. So someone just changed all the stuff on it. But I was still paying for their Netflix. So I was like, all right, well, I guess this doesn't need to be a thing. And I just never got back around to getting Netflix again. I do more Amazon Prime stuff, but that's going to be going away in a few weeks. They were doing anime-related stuff, but apparently Amazon Prime wasn't enough. They had to do the Amazon strike as well. That's going to be a real pain in the ass. This is why people pirate anime, because you're not really. It's sort of the Netflix Amazon thing where they're not really buying up. They're not like buying the rights to broadcast something. They're literally like buying it to make it exclusive. Like, it's not like, oh yeah, we'll pay a little bit of money, we'll offer it on our service, but other people could do it too. It's like, nope, they're just. It's like buying up wrestlers. It's like they are exclusive to this promotion, and then you have to take extra money to use it. I always forget that I have cable in this apartment. Like, I guess it's like kind of forced on us through our apartment to have cable available. I just don't. We don't have like anything really to hook it up to. I think we'd need like a coax cable and all that, and I don't feel like that. Anime strike shut down already? Oh, Jesus. That lasted a while, didn't it? Amazon strike just went up and Poof.
Robinson sets a screen for Miller.
So now it's just down to like what? Crunchyroll, Netflix.
From deep.
I don't know.
To go. He's got 14.
D there, guys, was pretty much non-existent. I mean, you can't leave a good shooter like that open.
Oh.
Hardaway kicks to
See, I think a lot of people would still consider me a gamer technically because I have a shitload of games and I love playing games. And I do pay attention to gaming news and get excited about releases, but like I'm very specific. Like I'm specific about like Switch stuff generally, or games that I like because I'm excited about Smash, I'm excited about NBA, I'm excited about Hitman. That's about it. Like most other AAA games, I don't 100% care for. Like I kind of have to be convinced if it's not something that I don't play on a regular basis. Like I haven't played on a regular basis already. Catalog got rolled in the Prime Video. Oh, okay. Oh, that's cool.
team trying Clark to get back into this game like this.
Yeah, definitely a jam with emphasis. A big apostrophe or exclamation point. How about maybe even a question mark, partner?
Well, you know what the questions are about now. It's their defense, that's for sure.
Here's Hardaway. And it's Hardaway again missing.
More often than not today, those shots have not dropped for him.
Oh, damn.
Pass to Hardaway.
I think the main difference between you and me, Dave, would be the fact that like you're in an area where there's a lot of like indie promotions doing shows. So you like to go to wrestling shows. So you'll spend your income, like your disposable income, on going to wrestling shows. We don't really have that, so I'm mostly just spending it on video games because I don't really have anyone else to spend it on. So there we go. So I think that's kind of your thing, where it's like, well, you'll go to, you know, Shine or Rise or NXT or some of that stuff. It's like, I feel like I'd probably do that if I was capable, but realistically, it's either like the awful local shows that are here, or I have to drive to Omaha for their shows, or like for All In to all the way to Chicago. You'd focus more on wrestling than gaming. I still don't 100% know that. You know, part of me would think maybe, but I don't know. I think I would definitely go to more wrestling shows, but I don't know.
And so Hornacek nails both of them.
I don't know. I think like I'm trying to think. I feel like I've been not down on wrestling, but I feel like I should probably spend, because the money that I'm not gonna, the $120 a year I'm not gonna spend on Amazon Prime this year, I should probably put towards like a streaming service I would care a little bit about. And I feel like I might be a little bit more interested in that because WWE is like not. That's probably why I've turned to like watching New Japan, Dragon Gate, Tokyo Joshi Pro, stuff like that, and get interested in that because it's kind of new and different and quirky, rather than like, because it felt odd watching SummerSlam this past weekend and then being like, you know, it was okay. You know, it was one of those things where it's like, it kind of, like, I was kind of checking my phone half the time because it's like there was stuff I was interested in but also didn't really care too much for.
He got there late, but you do have to like the aggressiveness to go after the block. But that one's going to count.
Can you hear the crowd kind of murmuring? I don't think they agreed with the officials on that one.
Steve, I tell you what, they're really letting them have it.
Oh, there we go. 2 months ago, Shine, you just get plenty of enjoyment just watching wrestling. Considering your number one passion, do understand how people get down on wrestling. You know, I did have an idea, in my head that I don't know if anyone really does this, and I'd love to know if someone does kind of do this, because I haven't really seen a whole lot of it, and that is like wrestling shit posting. Now I feel like there's different realms of that you could potentially do, but it was one of those things that because I'm sub to Urinating Tree, and he did like a whole video about like, so you want to shit post about sports on YouTube, and it was one of those things where he was talking about like how people were asking him about about how to do stuff like what his channel is, you know, for sports as well, and he said, well, you know, you could try doing it like this, or this, something like that. And he's like, you don't have to just do it for sports. You could do it for music or movies, or. And I thought to myself, I'm like, that feeling, that little aura of like doing that, like the idea of like somewhat bite-sized content, maybe not bite-sized, but like 10-minute, 5-10-minute long kind of satirical content. I don't know if wrestling has that. I don't know. Because, like, they have Botchamania, but it's just kind of Botchamania. Like, they do have... Like, imagine a channel that is mostly Botchamania endings. That would be it. And then perhaps, like, some other, like, random commentary about, like, a show that happened. Like, something major. I don't know. I don't know how to like. I don't know how to say in words how it would be interesting. Like what, like how you could portray. I like Jason's pretty much like that. Yeah. To a small part. I like Jason does a lot of that. I don't know if he posts that often. Does he? I don't know. I guess I realized I'm not really sub to him. But yeah, I've seen his like Shibata the musical type stuff. That would be something. I guess something that's like somewhat analytical, somewhat like it's mostly comedic and satirical, but also kind of analytical where they're talking about something. But yeah, I guess something like that is definitely, yeah. There's not a lot of that. Like I got into that for anime. Like there's a lot of anime YouTubers that I just don't really care for all that much because it falls into like one of two categories. Either they're like super weeby, goofy, whatever, or they're like super serious, analytical. Like this is like the stuff that you didn't understand about, you know, about this anime, and the undertones of the character arc is making it. It's like, that's why I get it, but why do you have to take it so? It's just a show. It's just, you know, gross feeling people name off wrestling based off of other people's work. I mean, yeah, I guess something like Daily Show would be something kind of like that. I'm trying to think, I don't know if anyone's ever watched Giguk. Giguk, I think, would be the closest to that sort of style, but with anime instead of wrestling. That would be the style. Or like Demo D when he was actually posting. that was my idea. It's like there's not really a whole lot of that. Otherwise, it's just lists. YouTube humor. I mean, yeah. I guess Demo D would be the next best. Like that'd be truly the best one, because that is just a lot of like, yeah. But like I like Jason reminds me of like a couple other guys who do shit posting, not to be analytical, but just to be kind of funny. But they do it in like the anime sphere, and I'm sub to them, and they're pretty funny.
Nice job that time of attacking.
And yeah, they keep it generally pretty bite-sized.
They'll take that.
The free throw drops for Duncan.
Gross feeling out of people who make a name off of wrestling based off other people's work. Daily Show type roofing and wrestling. Most of it's what culture, other shit complaining about whatever the hive mind smart topic of the week is. Nobody really sets themselves apart. Yeah, no one really does. That's I think that's a thing. Like, I feel like there's other ones that sort of set their, like, they at least like find their personality because they know there's a lot of other people doing that stuff. Wrestling doesn't hardly have that. Because I feel like the thing is that they started, there was a couple of them that kind of had their own little niche voice. And then they got kicked off YouTube. They got copyrighted the fuck off. But yeah, like there's been a lot of like little wrestling channels that I've seen pop up that like what culture started, like the idea of doing. And then a lot of people just kind of, instead of doing their own thing, they're like, we're going to do just like these guys, but slightly worse.
Back to Miller.
I don't know what I was getting at. This is my tired brain just talking about stuff. I don't. Like, it's one of those things I just realized it's like I don't know what my point was to that. I think that is another big reason why I'm not so much into wrestling compared to anime is because like I don't follow really hardly any wrestling YouTubers like anime YouTubers. I tend to find out some of the in-jokes from anime because of the shit posters that are funny and do stuff like that, but there's not really like other people besides I Like Jason in the wrestling community that do that. Mostly because everyone wants to be like either kind of that angry smart guy who talks about like certain things, or they want to be super analytical. And then they tend to take themselves like extremely seriously. When it feels like they shouldn't. Because I've seen some YouTube channels with like way too many subscribers for the quality of content they put out, and I'm just like, you're literally like not really adding hardly anything here besides what's being shown on the screen. Like I don't know how you get that many people who are interested in your stuff, because it's just you're kind of adding your own stuff, but it's just weak.
And Miller gets the assist. Orlando's gotten 3 of their 6 3-pointers to fall here in the fourth. Bibby passes to Duncan.
There's like a couple of channels in particular that I am thinking of, but don't feel like saying, because it would just be unnecessary.
Kempa screen on Bibby. Back to Miller. Fires the 3. And another 3 for Seattle.
You know, the defense didn't exactly try to fight around that screen, and that's why it turned into an easy
Let's
basket.
see here. Yeah, not to say I'd be any good at it, but
By the Magic.
I don't know. Maybe it's just not my kind of humor.
Short little jump shot.
Some of it just tends to be very, very like I don't mind dry humor, but then there's just some stuff where it's like I didn't even chuckle.
Making a change here. Hardaway's checked in. Back to Robinson. Miller outside. Pass to
Basically, all
Hardaway.
you need is a wrestling and sell podcast from people who are in wrestling. My roommate was talking about doing a wrestling podcast again. He was like, "We should do a wrestling podcast." I'm like, "Why?" He's like, "I think we'd be doing pretty good." I'm like, "Why?" He's like, "Well, how many wrestling podcasts, have like actual people within the industry?" I'm like, "Tons." generally it's by people who are in the industry themselves or spent like about as long as we've been alive in it. He's like, yeah, but how many of them are entertaining? I'm like, enough. And enough of them that it just wouldn't be worth the time and effort. He's like, yeah, but, you know, if you think about, like, you, me, and you know, like, because he was talking about one of his buddies who's, like, a local wrestler, and he's like, yeah, but if we had, like, his voice on here with you and me, you know, it'd be really quality. I'm like, all right, but I feel like it'd just be kind of a, yeah, it's like when I did a wrestling podcast, it was in like 2012, 2013. I'd have to look at the dates for it. It was like 5-6 years ago. And it was on NXT when it first started showing up in Full Sail. Like, it would have been great if I continued doing it throughout this entire time, because then we'd be one of those people who watched it like literally from the day Seth Rollins won the NXT title. And no one really did that at the time. No one really gave two shits about NXT at the time. Now, being like someone who focused on that would mean jack and shit.
Into the deficit a little bit, but not as much as he could have. One miss can make a difference.
Wallace kicks to Duncan.
Want to do that, don't expect to get any success. Yeah, exactly.
Look at the night for Tim Duncan. He's got 13 rebounds and a block. He's shown some flash with his passing and some grit with his board work.
Well, that's not a combination too many players are capable of either, guys.
And he cannot get the first one to drop. Tough one to miss. So he comes up empty.
And I also don't want to be one of those people who would, because I've seen people take themselves a little too, like, I'm not naming anyone specific, but I've seen people before who are fans of wrestling, and they've been like, oh man, I've got like X number of followers, you know, if it's in the 4 digits, like, okay, sure. But then it's like, yeah, I'm part of the head of the internet wrestling community. I'm like, is that a title you really want? And what does that really mean? It's like, at the end, you're still a fan. You're not in the business. I've seen that where they've talked like they have an utmost authority on wrestling. I'm like, you're still a fucking fan. Maybe that's why I don't like to take hardly anything seriously, and I don't like the people who do tend to take things like really seriously. Because it's like, at the end of the day, like, you're still having to pay the ticket to go to a show. Maybe it is just people who might have decently large followings. Like, not like huge. Yeah, if you don't know anybody who doesn't have a large following in wrestling, you're pretty much podcasting to a wall. Dude, I think he's still around. There was a dude when I did my wrestling podcast. He'd been doing wrestling podcasting for like 6 years before this. So he's been legit doing it for probably like 12 years now. Yeah, now that I've been like talking and like venting my frustrations with people who take themselves too seriously, now I feel like a third game. But he legit, like, I actually checked on his because I thought about him. I don't know, like, it was kind of like, it wasn't like brought up to me, but it was one of those things that I just thought about. I was like, does he still do this? And he still does like 3-hour podcasts on the week in wrestling. He's been doing it for like 12 years, and he gets about I think he actually gets less downloads than I do like YouTube views on most of my like, he probably gets like 100 120 downloads on Podbean, which is just not I don't think that's the most viable of places to be anymore. But yeah, the whole thing was like, I can't imagine doing it for that long and still like, it's like I'm just sitting here
Welcome to the NBA here on 2K Sports.
just
It's Tuesday.
shit talking and playing basketball mediocrely, and I'll probably have more people who watch this than listen to that 3-hour show.
Let's get you to Kevin Hart.
And that still requires like watching the week in wrestling, which is like Raw, SmackDown, Impact, NXT. Like you're still watching 8 fucking hours of wrestling, and then doing a 3-hour show for 100 people. Shows that don't have any wrestling experience, like they go through excellent editing, covering periods of wrestling most don't. New mind joining being cool and funny guys. They put in the effort to make something different. People still nostalgic of it. Yeah.
Yeah, here's a guy who gives the coach the luxury of a very simple play call, which is just the ice.
You'd have to do that. You'd have to find something that sets you apart.
And he also is incredibly adept at running the
Make a
pick and roll.
podcast where you narrate
Always
wrestling
makes
fan
things
fiction.
happen when he instigates.
I'm sure you do have one you can narrate. I can narrate.
Winning their last 3 games. They'd like to make that 4 in a row here tonight.
Well, it's really not a surprise to anybody that they're having the kind of season that they are, Kevin. You wouldn't have expected anything less from the defending champs.
And Steve, they've got a very legitimate chance to be wearing that crown again at the end of this season. I mean, with the experience of last year still fresh in their minds, and quite honestly, they're my pick to go all the way.
Hey.
He's good. Bibby's got his first 3 points of the game.
D there, guys, was pretty much non-existent. I mean, you can't leave a good shooter like
He
that.
said, "Lay the smackdown on me, Daddy." Jesus. Isn't there like a Chris Jericho, Shawn Michaels, Stephanie McMahon, Randy Orton? Isn't there like some big long running wrestling fan fiction that has like
I was able to catch up
a ton of chapters and it's been ongoing for like 10 years?
game planning for Tim Duncan. He said
Pretty sure there's one of those. I'm pretty sure I was shown one of those things, like some sort of wrestling fan fiction that has
tough contested shots.
an ass load of chapters, and it ended last year. Oh.
Knows how to draw contact. They want to avoid getting baited into silly fouls.
Either way, I think it went on for a long ass time. I hope it had like a definitive ending.
In the end, it wasn't even close. I mean, they had points coming from all over the floor.
Oh my God! Or at least they touched it.
And offensively, they just had a rhythm that was impressive.
Hardaway kicks to Bibby. Feeds to Duncan. 6 on the shot clock. And that one is hammered home.
With that reverse jam, the fans got a little extra show there.
That one definitely had something, you're right, extra on it.
That was one of those 3 or 4 plays that you see every night in an NBA game that just leaves you in awe.
Now here's Stoudemire. He had an 18-point outing in the last game against
Sorry. I feel like just not saying much right now after I'm just like marinating in just thinking about like different shows that have been and other things. I couldn't imagine being one of those shows that just covers the week. Like I couldn't imagine being some nobody who covers the week in wrestling. Because I know if I know one guy personally who's still doing it, I can only imagine the amount of people who probably do it and like I don't know them. That if I went and looked for him, it was like, oh well, that just is odd. Why are you doing this? I would even ask that guy like that I know. I would ask him why he's doing this. And it's like I feel like you maybe don't have hardly anything else going on if you're doing that. I get you have a passion. I mean, good for you. You're doing something you enjoy, hopefully. Just don't get an overinflated ego about it. I guess that's another thing.
Pretty plain and simple. Got him good there.
It's his first trip to the line.
Maybe I see it more in wrestling than anything else. Just the idea of having like that an overinflated ego because you have like a social media presence that like some people care about, or a YouTube channel that literally just kind of copy pasted some other bigger channel's idea.
Come together for them at the right time.
Hey, the all-around effort was very solid, but they're not interested in moral victories. A loss is a loss. And a look now statistically over the last month for the Rockets. 9th in free throw percentage, 17th in steals. And as far as fewest turnovers per game, not a strong suit. They've struggled here. Top 20 in the league. Those numbers can get you beat.
I'm impressed most with their free throw shooting that you talked about. This is a team that really focuses from the foul line. They shoot the ball well.
Oh, why did I do that? I was just stuffing Hunter's Wild Night. That should be a thing. That should be a book that you can narrate. Just that 10-year-long fan fiction of Jericho and Stephanie. And that's what you do. You don't do a podcast discussing wrestling. It's just another chapter of that. Or you could put it on YouTube. Make like a whole YouTube thing about it. Where you just go over, you don't even like analyze it. You just read the fan fiction. Like an audiobook.
Houston gets it back. Ostertag pass to Willis. This game's going to take a big swing. Clark at the D continues to clear out like that and give up
This week on WWE Erotica.
Exhibition game, not a close game like this.
Look how frustrated Steve is over here.
Well, I just,
head.
you know what,
He's
Kevin?
disgusted.
Come on, Kevin. I just like that he didn't choose to just lay it up there. I mean, he threw it down with force.
Houston moving it around. Ostertag, a screen on Bibby. Here's Stoudemire.
Hey.
Duncan. And it's out of bounds to the Rockets as Houston retains possession. It seems like every shot these guys have been putting up has been going in. This month's
Oh shit. Okay.
Tim Duncan on top.
That'd be the podcast name, by the way. WWE Erotica. Even if it isn't WWE, guys.
Down shots at a high rate. One of the best field goal percentage shooters in the league.
So a new group on the floor for Orlando.
This week's episode, we see just who Rusev crushes.
By the officials, a nice call. That play can be tough to judge sometimes.
We go to a world of fan fiction where every day is Rusev Day. And he really likes to slap on the accolade. Oh, God damn it. Nobody's get successful off of wrestling. Podcasts get successful often not often touch upon niche in wrestling. Fan base will value your opinion on the current product. Yeah.
They've done well at taking advantage of some late defensive rotations and getting
I'm sure there's probably other people out there who've done like Joshi stuff, but that'll be my thing. I'll just talk Joshis. But I'll do everything in my power to make sure they don't actually value my opinion. It's like he's so great at the opinions, but I just can't value his opinion when he rates all the rest of the women wrestlers. Like, it's like he could just do like a star system or a number system or a grade system, but now he's just rating them. He's rating them out of 5 waifus, or out of like a 1 through 10 on the waifu scale.
Terrific basketball this year. They haven't missed a beat after the success they had last season. Well, it's hard to find
It's like tonight on the Joshi podcast, Notika Onesan drops her Onesan gimmick, becomes Notika Tenma. She goes up from a 6 out of 10 on the waifu scale to a 9 out of 10. You two might be interested in this week's show if you into thick AF Joshis. No one would value my opinion if that's how I started it.
And guys, what do you think about the offensive approach we've seen so far for the Rockets?
And they're doing a fantastic job of finding the open man and getting easy looks.
You know, it also hasn't taken them long to make their mark in the paint. I mean, they're doing a lot of their scoring there.
Both shots good from the stripe. The Magic trail by 5. Number 11, defended by Bailey.
Oh, come on. I haven't even thought about the fact that we're down by 5 right now. Oh, my God. We're just not getting anything going. See, that'd be another thing is I don't know shit about the scene in Japan. I don't live there. I don't go there. I don't know. I'd be making stuff up. It's like, well, based off of what the show that I've watched.
His first points of the game on the deep ball. Houston's gone 1 or 2 from long range in the first quarter.
This is how it could be.
Out of bounds, Rockets ball as Houston keeps possession. And the Rockets making a change here. Mills is checked in.
Oh, damn.
Hornacek covering.
Ah, God.
6 points for him.
Both teams on fire. Right
I don't think there'd be hardly anything else at this point to really cover in wrestling that might not be covered.
Separated by 5.
Unless there's some scene in Europe that no one's really covering.
19 seconds left in the first.
Like a ring conf. Well, no, that's, yeah, just some sort of European brand podcast.
The triple.
I don't know. I don't know if there's like there's one about like the Canadian scene. I don't think there's much of a Canadian scene. Except for like ECCW and Smash. Oh. I guess Impact now. Technically.
Rockets lead by 5. Don't go away. We'll be back with the action for the start of the
I'm missing
second
a
quarter.
lot of shots and I'm getting blocked a lot too.
Coming up next Monday night, January 18th, the Indiana Pacers hit the road for a duel with the Atlanta Hawks. A battle in the East. Big-time hoops coming your way.
Still waiting on a great Indies podcast. All of them are regional, not all encompassing. There's likely great talent out there you're not aware of. Dude, exclusivity, local accessibility. That's a very good point.
It was pretty impressive the way they moved the ball, made the extra pass, and found open shooters that whole quarter.
Yeah, it's been a complete team effort out there. Great to watch.
And now let's check out the lineups courtesy of Gatorade, all fueled up and ready to go. Here's the second quarter of play. Taking a look at the Rockets. They've got Elijah and it's
damn it.
the free spot. The magic of shot.
Hey, thanks, stay hydrated, bot.
Well, to this point of the season, guys, they're knocking down.
Yeah, I can't even think about, like, if I were to be like, oh, yeah, here's your Midwestern guys, because, like, they got some stuff in Des Moines, but they don't really have, like, talent. It's not a lot of talent to talk about, unless I went up to Minnesota or down to Harley Race's place in Kansas City or over to Omaha.
And Orlando making a change here.
Yeah, someone just doesn't like someone over preference. Doesn't help the word of mouth about it.
Shot clock at 6. Back to Stoudemire. Shoots. The shot is off.
Talks about how he's down by 5. Was talking about thick Joshis earlier.
To host the Mavericks. That'll be the first of 2 straight at home.
Some good matchups. And that Dallas Mavericks game, definitely one to be checking out.
It's rebounded by Mills.
You know, typically,
That's my podcast right there.
he's in that tight. I'm not sure what happened there.
Misses in close.
I thought he rushed it a little bit, guys, because he had a clean look, just lost his focus.
I know someone would get angry about that too.
Post shot. Blunt. Great D that time from Mills. Houston leading by 5.
Someone would get angry about the fact that it's just like, yep, this is
Passing there by Houston.
they're great.
Here's Bailey.
Ah,
Mills. Uncovered.
Yeah, because I was telling my roommate when he was talking about wrestling podcasts, and he was like, you know what? There's more than enough podcasts out there already from people who are literally in the business. And I told him, I'm like, just at All In Weekend, there's people I didn't even know had podcasts that are going to be podcasting that weekend. Like, I don't even really listen to podcasts anymore.
Bailey, Hornacek covering.
I can't imagine someone paying attention to that many, and then,
Got it. Good job
yeah,
on the
I told them, I'm like, it's just not a good idea.
Guys, he's got the limp to get to the rim, and when he gets there, you never see it clumsy or awkward.
But that's what I told him. I'm like, I think the untapped market as far as wrestling goes is bite-sized content. Like, and not even like analytical bite-sized content, but like comedic bite-sized content. That's the untapped market, I think, in wrestling. Because, like, there's some analytical stuff that, you know, might be sort of untapped, but at this point, like, a lot of stuff is being done by bigger places already.
Rockets leading by 3.
I feel like that's the only real untapped market.
With the ball.
And even then, it's sort of being done by other places, just not in the same realm
Willis, 6 to
that, you know, other you know, places do stuff.
the whistle, fouled hard on the shot. He'll go to the line.
I fell apart in my trying to bring up my point there.
In steals this past month. The Rockets have shot 75% at the line tonight, going 3 for 4.
You're friends with someone who hosts Medusa's podcast. Did you know Medusa had a podcast? I did, but that's only because of the All In Weekend thing. Before checking out that, I didn't even know Medusa had a podcast. I wonder how good Colt Cabana does now. Like, cause he was like the guy at the first point. Like, it was Art of Wrestling, and then you had Jericho's podcast that could get like slightly bigger people than what he does, and then everyone else just piled in after. I always wonder. I figured Art of Wrestling probably does pretty well.
Guys, they continue to put a lot
But I don't know if it does as well, because it's just that idea of
One of the stories of the first half, Clark,
just that idea of, well, I guess
16 feet.
there's just so many other people to listen to.
The Magic have gone 3 of their first 5 shots.
You know, I could listen to Colt Cabana and this indie wrestler, or I can listen to Chris Jericho talk to Matt Hardy, or,
1 for 5.
you know,
Stoudemire outside.
I didn't even realize that, like, Bruce Pritchard had, like, I kind of knew Bruce Pritchard had one. I had no idea that Tony Schiavone had one.
On the 3 ball.
That was another one. I was like, I thought he swore off wrestling and was working at Starbucks while also doing, like, AA baseball radio.
The 3-pointer offline.
I thought he was doing some baseball radio for, like Atlanta's minor league stuff,
Still getting warmed up offensively.
and then working at Starbucks because he can part-time because he can get benefits through that. Short talks to multiple wrestlers depending on where he is. For example, if he has a show in Chicago.
And he lays it straight in.
Show will be called Chicago. Will feature wrestlers he worked with that weekend who he turned a mic on with. Okay.
follow just like he got there.
Bibby kicks to Hardaway.
That's gonna, you know, I really truly feel like that's gonna. I think that was the thing that a couple of guys talked about before, that run like a couple of the shoot places, where they're like, you know, this podcast stuff is really gonna kill off the idea of doing like shoot DVDs, because by the time you get around to shoot DVDs and interviews like that and paying that much money to get them to talk in a shoot, like, you could have just done they probably did like 5 podcasts talking about that already.
Back to Wallace. And the defense didn't have
All right.
position. They whistle a blocking foul, and he'll go to the line.
And this is a guy who's made the power slam his trademark, Kevin. So we'll just have to see who he throws it down on tonight.
And Steve, some of the best highlights you're ever going to see are going to come from this guy.
Mm.
Every time he steps on the court, there's a chance he'll perform the dunk of the season.
Jeff Hornacek. He's checked in for Orlando. He dishes it to Stoudemire. Cans the shot with nobody near him. Stoudemire's got his first basket of the night. The Magic trail by 5. Duncan dishes.
Ah, son of a bitch. Yeah, I always thought about how interesting it would be if there was something like urinating tree, but with wrestling. And then I realized like a lot of stuff where he's talking about like sports teams that don't win championships or make like stupid GM decisions and trade players. It's like that really can't happen so much in wrestling because so much of it happens, by just the booking or or like when a video gets made, laughing at someone doing something kind of stupid and then losing like a big championship or something. Like, I think it would carry a little bit less weight because it'd be wrestling. So it's like, well, there's not the heartbreak involved like there is in real sports.
And the Magic making a change here.
Like it's like there's a certain entertainment in knowing the absolutely real heartbreak of Houston missing 27 threes in a row, and that sort of leading to them not getting to the finals rather than, hey, Brock Lesnar finally lost the title. Ha ha.
That's the kind of defense required when he's got the ball near the hoop. They were right in his face.
Oh, damn it.
Passes to Bibby. Wallace covered by Mills. Backing down is Wallace. And he drops
There we
it
go.
off the glass.
Tony, and just like Bruce, he's making big money sucking the teeth. It's Southern wrestling nostalgia. Tony is there for all of it. As it turns out, he obviously has a respected opinion on it. Yeah. Which is weird because I felt like most of that teat was being taken up by Lawler and Cornette.
5 to shoot. They get it back. And a foul on the shot. He'll go to the stripe for 2. It's going to go on Penny Hardaway.
Tell you what, we haven't seen them be as aggressive driving the lane and drawing fouls in this quarter, but so far it hasn't cost them on the scoreboard.
And I think part of the reason it hasn't cost them is they went at them hard in the first quarter, and now they're picking them apart a little bit from the outside. I don't think they can get too comfortable out there, though, or the league could start.
Oh, God. All right. Well, I at least got it. That could have gone much worse.
He's still stretched into a two-possession game. That's big for them right now.
This is what an NBA 2K game needs, by the way. If you're creating courts, we need to be able to recreate this court. That would be the epitome of court creation, is allowing me to do like what WWE 2K does and just make complete and utter like artwork abominations. That's what we need.
So neither attempt will fall that time for him.
I need to be able to do this nonsense.
Second quarter ends in a tight one. Rockets on top. They're up by 4. Live from the AT&T Center in San Antonio, you're watching 2K Sports.
And now, brought to you by Sprint.
Time now for the Tuesday Roundup, coming to you on 2K Sports. The Houston Rockets in front against Orlando. Right now, they're the 5th place team in the conference. And defensively, they've done a good job grabbing rebounds, limiting second chances. Hakeem Olajuwon is getting it done through 2 quarters.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that like were in the wrestling. Like, does Steve Austin still do his podcast? Does Ric Flair still do his podcast? I thought Bret Hart did one at one point.
They're getting everything they want.
There's a lot of people that I remember did podcasts at one point that I'd love to know if they still technically do them. Like they kind of got into it and then they didn't. I don't know. Riveting. Wait, how does that work? Let me riddle me this, Batman. A man has 4 points, but it is 0-0. Being inside of everything WCW, big chunk of that was taken when Eric started his 83 Weeks podcast, but now Tony has a comfy and laid-back gig with MLW, which the podcast success earned him.
We have a
it's kind of odd because I used to be big into podcasts and now I'm not so much anymore. It might be because of the fact that I can kind of like I probably am not supposed to really be on my phone that much, but like I can at least like watch YouTube videos and stuff and read about stuff rather than like listen to like I can get the snippets of something rather than just having an hour, 2-3 hour long podcast running with my headphones on while I'm working. So I do get the appeal of that. But then that is one of those things where it's like I really only have listened to snippets at this point. That's of so many of these podcasts.
No doubt about it. Clearly a foul. Nothing to argue about there.
The Magic have only made 2 attempts, shooting poorly at the line in this one. He's off on the first. He hits the second from the line. Houston leading by 3. Here's Stoudemire.
Yeah, I've seen podcasts in certain subreddits that is literally like a subreddit podcast where it's like r blah 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 the podcast. I'm like, are you talking about the goings on within this, or are you just basically going through like, hey, here's the top links from this week, let's just discuss them. Steve surprisingly still does 2 shows a week. Did a Summer Slam takeover preview and everything. Nothing been going on. Just talks about what he likes to do in the hunting, traveling, bantering his observations. Jericho still does 2 shows a week. Garcia makes wrestlers cry. She's covered wrestlers and talk about their personal lives. Mainly the Women Edge and Christians podcast is great. That's good. You know what I would say would probably be the best kind of podcast are the ones that are like an hour long tops. Like I can only imagine how like I imagine like longer podcasts would be good if you have that sort of time and energy to do that, but I feel like because I see so many podcasts that go for 3 friggin' hours. And I'm like, what are you talking about for 3 hours every single week?
And a chance here to see our rookie watch, the biggest point-producing freshman over the last 10 games.
And I say that as someone who streams like 3 times a week for 3 hours, but like I'm actively playing a game.
And how is the West shaping up, guys? Well, let's take a moment here.
Clusterfuck that was talking shop was restricted by Rocky Romero to a half hour.
What a season they've assembled here, guys. Perched up there in first place and playing terrific basketball game in and game out. And checking out Houston, 6 games out.
Checking out Houston, they've done what they've needed to do up to this point.
I need to get... Oh, look at that. Someone stumbled. Oh, but then he stumbled like a jackass. Yeah, you just have that look on your face like you just... Yes, you did just poop your pants. And it smells. Had such a great plan, and then you went and dicked it up.
Takes a 3. Shot clock at 6. Again, the next by Stoudemire.
If he can improve on
Hey, Collapse, how's it going? Balls. Rocky had the right idea because Jericho's version of it is a dumpster fire. I think it's because Jericho just like I from what I remember, like Jericho just kind of let them go, but sometimes they need to be like just kind of like clipped in. Not to mention it's Jericho trying to like it's like yeah, Jericho's just gonna fit in with them, and it's like because I remember hearing that and being like it felt like Jericho was just trying to. Was just gonna I'm gonna let them go, man, and then I'm gonna be hanging out with them, and it's gonna be great. We'll just go for 2 hours, and I'll have the same exact chemistry that they do.
That's 4 for 5 shooting for this team.
Yeah, and that one's good.
They've been good on all 3 of their shots since coming out of the locker room at the break.
Good, tired. I'm doing tired.
Yeah, guys, I think
Carlos made Tiger Shop good, but he barely gets a word in.
Get his club back on track.
You know, coaches are always tweaking and tinkering with things mid-game. Actually, sometimes they overdo it.
Bailey, who's
Up,
checked in for
up,
Houston.
up. Come on.
They set the pick. Stoudemire goes in.
I think that would be a frontier in wrestling that they could maybe do again.
Trail by 7.
I don't know how many podcasts out there are potentially with like gaijins in Japan. Like I feel like talking shop, man, why didn't he drive to the hoop? I told him to. I moved the stick to have him drive to the hoop.
That's a strong start.
I feel like that's a perspective that you could potentially have that could work. Oh!
And he throws it down hard with one hand.
Even when they're down, he's still looking to do the spectacular. And he pulled it off.
Well, maybe this is the best time to do it.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, now's when they need a little spark anyway.
Tomatonga tried to do one. Never was any good at it or put any investment into it.
First and
That sounds like it.
And they also show up in the top 5 and not giving
Like I'm imagining like a pretty okay podcast, like a well produced podcast with like Juice Robinson and someone else who's generally around for that stuff.
They dominate their opponent, and when they do that, and they get a lot of block shots.
I don't know if David Finley would be that guy, but Juice and another kind of young up and coming guy. I don't know if Jay White would be that either.
Off the pick from Elijah Wan. And the whistle blows as the basket counts and a three-point play chance right here. One free throw coming up.
I'll tell you what I love about him, his ability to finish even while absorbing contact. He is so strong, even with defenders hanging all over him. He continues to finish at the basket.
And one of his other great qualities, Steve, is his quick trigger off the dribble. I mean, he can get his
Come
shot
on,
off
come on,
in
come on.
a half a second.
My nose itches. Why is my nose itch right now?
Pass to Hardaway.
Why?
I'd love to see them impose their will a little bit more on the backboard. Usually that's a great way to take control of a game.
Well, they haven't been able to
All
do
right,
that
well, I
yet, but
appreciate
it's
that if you
something
do.
they're certainly capable of.
Stoudemire
Juice and David. Yeah, Juice doesn't even have a Twitter. I thought Juice had a Twitter.
gets it to go. He's got 6.
Did you see the defense?
Maybe it's so the Japanese women can't like find him and tag him on Twitter.
More of an effort on the boards there, Steve.
Here's Duncan, and the bucket counts. And he's on
So he can duck them in
a
case
three-point play.
he actually does start making some half Japanese babies.
But it has not been contagious. His teammates, they haven't had the same groove, and that's why we're looking at this result so far.
And Orlando making a change here. Wallace is checked in.
It'll be 18. What team's your favorite? Cubs. Used to, hasn't had one since being a young boy in New Japan. That makes sense, I guess. He's probably doing a lot better that way anyway.
Out to Wallace. Abdur Rahim covered by Mills. There's the feed to Duncan.
Ah,
Through the blocking
okay,
foul.
we still got
Over the
that.
line for 2.
We've seen Tim Duncan getting it done. 15 points, and he has sent a bunch of
That's probably why I don't follow too many people either on Twitter. It's because
Serious intimidation factor working in
it's
their
because I just like I follow enough people to be like kind of entertained, but then not so much where I gotta listen to some nonsense. It's like I don't care for your opinion on this.
144.
It's unnecessary.
Stoudemire off the pick from Mills. Here's the teardrop.
Ah, hey, what's up? All right, Bibby, you got this. Oh, that was why he didn't hardly even do anything.
Second chance shot, and the layup is up and in.
He didn't hardly just stand there. Now we're down by 1 now.
Now the story is points in the paint, Clark. I mean, they're getting point-blank shots every time down.
And the pass to Mills. Willis with it. Wallace covering. Stoudemire outside. From deep. No luck. So Orlando will take it the other way.
Yeah, let's keep using Duncan. Why not? He's been
Backing him down.
on fire, so might as well do it.
Back to Wallace. He dishes it to Bibby. Some nice ball movement by the Magic.
Oh, Who was that? Oh, that was Mayberry.
2-for-1 opportunity.
Damn.
Yeah, they got to hurry. Step on the gas here.
You usually only listen to podcasts of people in wrestling. I never ever listen to The Observer or any of the Dirt Sheet writers' podcasts. I have to go with Keller being Austin's go-to guy. That's another reason why, like, I love my roommate. He's great, but I told him, like, no one's gonna give a shit. There's enough schmucks out there already who talk about wrestling that have never taken a bump in their life. And I know you've taken a bump, but, like, even if you're an indie guy, you're just still a random schmuck. Ah, if I had like one extra second.
Magic lead by 1. And we'll have the start of the fourth quarter for you as soon as we get back from this short break.
Coming up next Monday, January 18th, the Los Angeles Clippers, live from Target Center. Be there.
Several diamonds in the indie rough, yeah.
Got a great game on our hands as we welcome you back.
I was thinking about the guys that I also did podcasts with, because I think they still have their podcast network. I wonder if they still do their podcasts. Because once again, so many of them were literally just about the week in wrestling. Kind of have their own spin on it, but still, like, Tyler Rose's roommate. No. Not roast my roommate. Just just making sure he. I told him as such. It's not like I'm telling you guys anything I didn't tell him. Because like I told him, because he's like, yeah, well, you know what, we can have actual wrestlers on our show. I'm like, people barely give a shit about like well-known guys, like guys who are on national TV who have podcasts. Like, local guys, sure, that's fine, but it's not gonna, that hardly means shit.
Kicks it to Elijah Wan. Wallace is there. Goes up low. A nice shot by Elijah Wan.
You know, it's really going to be all about hard work from this point on. And they worked hard to create that high-quality shot right there.
Yeah, and that's their goal down the stretch. Continue to find those close-range shots.
Doris Burke has some information for us. Doris?
I feel like that's the thing. Like, if you're a wrestler and you're never, like, if you weren't on national TV, like, I don't think you're, like, gonna be considered all that big of an authority on most wrestling like that.
That one is off.
Successful guys have to be careful too. A lot of carny bastards in the Indies can twist and spin words. Yeah, no shit. I mean, you find that shit out just in the last couple of weeks. Can't, you know, even when you want to beat around the bush with something, you better not beat around the fucking bush, because people will just take your fucking words and say you said something maybe you didn't say, or maybe you did, you know, maybe you did, but you didn't mean it the way that you did.
Covered by Mills. He kicks to Bibby. Duncan left side. Duncan drawing the double team.
It's probably already got enough people who could do that here.
Houston's gone past the three-point line for 13 of their shots. They're 6 of 13. Marburg, guarded by Hardaway, feeds it to Mills. From downtown.
Wow. What? Are you shitting me right now? Are you shitting me?
Backing him down is Duncan. Bibby.
That is some horse cock.
Hardaway for three. It's rebounded by Mills. Mills.
Wow.
Rebound so far in the game. Stoudemire kicks to Mills. Passes to Elijah Wan.
It's weird that this all came from a tangent over an hour ago about wanting to potentially try to do something like shit posting about wrestling on YouTube.
I think the defense got lucky
because I don't think a lot of people do it.
More of those than he misses when he's got that much room.
Maybe I'll do like a little bit of everything. I'll do a little bit of everything that could potentially get me paid by YouTube. I'm gonna have a kids channel that's about Fortnite and it's a Fortnite and Spider-Man. And we're gonna react to video. I'm gonna react to videos as Spider-Man, and I'm gonna try to make it PG friendly so that kids can watch it. Or I'm a kid friendly YouTuber who subscribe who subscribes to other kid friendly YouTubers and then reacts to their kid friendly stuff. Like, oh, what do you know? Another Finger Family video. And look, we're going to talk about the latest toys. Cool.
I think they're trying to go for the kill here. I mean, they're starting to take a lot more three-point shots than they had been before, looking to run away. Yeah, and that's fine as long as
Watch you do a kid-friendly podcast. That's their satire lolly coverage. Gotta make it subtle, where I'm just talking about, like, it's like, isn't this anime girl cute? I heard she's only 10. I'm like, she's real cute. I feel like they could be even more sinister than you could imagine.
Wallace has got 4 rebounds now tonight. Bibby kicks to Duncan. He passes it to Wallace.
That's the satirical, like, YouTube stuff right there. Like, I'll do kid-friendly content and then I'll do not so kid-friendly content about that shit. And then it's just like, that's weird. It's like, what? They're not real.
Following this one, they get to host the Mavericks. That game marks the first half of a quick 2-game.
No, knowing that shit would happen, how quickly would I be labeled something? I'd be labeled a fucking creep. I wonder if that's a thing. Is that like an untapped market? Is kids podcasts? Is that how you tap the market?
The second chance effort, and that's 2 points on the way up. Duncan's got
Find a way to make, like, podcasting, like, super easy to get a hold of, like, podcasts and do kid friendly podcasts.
Stoudemire outside.
Nothing better than a nearly 30-year-old guy talking about kid stuff.
Just not quick enough. And we have the benefit of replay, but I think they got that one right, which is the case most times, even though fans don't think so.
On defense, Orlando.
Having to eat your vegetables, am I right, kids? Isn't that messed up that mom and dad made you eat Brussels sprouts? Donate to my Patreon.
Starting to have some trouble handling the ball.
That'll be, and then I'll give away some. I'll do some V-Bucks giveaways. That'll get some subscribers. I can do a bunch of 3 a.m. challenges, mostly because I'll be up at that time anyway. So that'll work. That'll be one of my, yeah. I don't know what's the
Stoudemire dishes to Mills. Back to Stoudemire.
what's the thing right now that people are into? Like, what's the meme? Is it still the Momo thing? I think we're past Boss Baby. I think that's scary. I think that, like, the Momo face, I'd be like, oh, I contacted Momo at 3 a.m. She gave me a creepy call, and then I went back to playing Planet Coaster. Kids hosted the temper tantrum. You get frustrated with Fortnite. In mid-funny voice, you finally let out an F-bomb and several other vulgarities. I gotta make like goofy faces. I wonder if you could have the. I'm trying to think if there's satirical content like that, where it's like, "Hey kids, welcome. Today we're gonna be playing another game of Fortnite," and then you just hear like, "Yay!" like like a sound effect of a bunch of kids going, "Yay!" It's like, don't forget to subscribe below, hit the bell, and hit that like button to be entered into the V-Bucks giveaway. All right, it's time to get out there and start trying to get a victory. Then like 45 seconds later, I get shot. It's just like, fuck, shit, god damn it. just pressing my face up into the microphone, going, "Suck a dick." Do 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 do. As this is happening, it's the fucking like Eric Andre thing, where it just freezes and do 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 do.
24 points for Tim Duncan.
I think they need to get much more disruptive defensively. They can't just keep allowing these easy baskets.
I agree. They need more.
Throw your controller and then the screensaver comes up. That's the staple of every last one of those videos. Is I throw the controller. That's how you know. Just every video like that becomes my thing.
A little earlier than he would have liked.
It'd be even funnier if I throw my controller, and the funny thing is I just play the PC version of Fortnite.
He's made an effort to get into the defense a lot more by aggressively attacking the basket, and he's not shying away from the contact, which is giving him some free throw opportunities.
He's able to hit the second one, and that stretches their lead to 8.
Like any sane person would just be like, well, that's why he's playing a shooting game on PC with a controller. Yep.
And he cannot get the first one to drop. Tough one to miss. And he does get the second one, and that will put them up by 9.
He would have liked them all.
That's what we need is Fortnite combined with Adult Swim.
Pass to Norton.
That's the satirical stuff right there. Just all those videos, and I somehow make it 10 minutes every time. And if I've only got about 6 minutes of footage, then I have to spend 4 minutes just punching the keyboard. My hands are bleeding, going, I gotta get to 10 minutes to get those mid-roll ads. I'm just crying by the 9:50 mark because I gotta keep beating the shit out of it. Like, why couldn't have I lasted 2 more minutes? My knuckles are bleeding.
Here's Hoiberg.
Aww.
And so it's Orlando winning this one. Both teams played well.
Hey.
Yeah, I think so. They were just steak knife sharp. Very on top.
2.5. Duncan's not even walking across the court. He's just cutting through the dudes broadcasting.
Thanks for watching this presentation of the NBA on 2K Sports. And now,
2.5 hours of basketball. God damn. I think I'm good. I'm probably. Oh, Patterson and the Bobcats snap a 33-game skid against the Timberwolves. Oh, fucking rip Minnesota, man. Wow. That's got to be disheartening. Ruben Patterson, Victor Alexander, Paul Pierce. Oh, poor Paul Pierce is the 6th man. Because Vinny Del Negro still needs his time. They're getting there. They're almost there. The length of an actual game, yeah. I usually go like an hour 40 or so, but I did an extra game because this is probably it. I just didn't want to do much of anything else beyond this. I kept thinking about games I should play, but I was like, I don't think there's anything on my PC I want to play right this second. I don't think there's anything on my Switch that I feel like streaming, at least. There's stuff I feel like playing, but really not so much streaming. I'll go down to the Miami game because that's definitely going to be the next one. No. All right, now I'm going to save it again. I'll just combine this content with kid style content that like fucking 12-year-olds make. Calling Shareef Abdul-Rahim at 3 a.m. in brackets, he answers. And it's just me with like a shocked face holding up a picture of my phone that has Shareef Abdul-Rahim. Like, it's just I think I am good then. Well, I appreciate you guys coming out. It's a little bit shorter than it usually is. This is like 2:30 something. It's like 2.5 hours. A little bit shorter than usual, and it's just the one thing. But you know what? I think I'll be all right. Hopefully, I'll be more into wanting to do something on Thursday. I don't know. I'll maybe find something. I feel like I'm just killing time until stuff like Axis. Well, I mean, I'm still doing Axis 17, but until like 2K19 comes out and I can dig into that and see what's all going on there, and then just other games. But yeah, I'll get to that stuff. I'll have something fun on Thursday. Hopefully, I'll remember to sleep. It's generally a good idea. Well, thanks for coming out. I appreciate it, and I will see you guys next time.